Nothing.
I see the end stream button now.
Okay. I mean, I'm guessing it's because. Oh.
Here it comes.
Nothing. When you do this stream,
I
is
see
it
the end
possible
stream
to
button
change? Oh, yep. I can hear myself now.
All right.
Is it possible to change? Because there's going to be like a disgustingly bad lag with the default settings. So there is a setting on the stream. Let me see. Shoot. 1 second.
All right. I think I see what you're talking about. Though I've already hit go on it, so I don't know if I can change it at this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I guess we're locked in. So it might be like 15 seconds or something.
That's okay.
Yeah. Okay.
That's all right. Okay. So I did make sure to mute that tab. Okay. Cool. So I think we're live. I'll see after the lag.
I don't see you on the screen.
Oh, it's coming.
Okay. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. It's gonna be quite a thing. All right. So let's see. It's just me right now. So I have Caleb here. Welcome to the live stream, by the way. Let me get this set up. This is my first one, so please forgive me for some bad stream stuff. Here we go. Get this element in here. So while I'm doing that, Caleb, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. I'm doing really well. I'm about to get schooled in functional programming and LiveView. I'm pumped.
I'm about to get schooled on Laravel and LiveWire because that's something that I don't know a lot about. And I keep on hearing about the stuff that you guys are doing, and I just want to see what that's like. And I don't know. We'll see how it goes. It goes.
Yep. I'm pumped. So do we need to do any intros besides this? I'm Caleb. I created LiveWire and Alpine, and this is David. David, you can intro yourself.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Now I got Caleb up here. Okay, so I'm David Bernheisel. I've not made any frameworks here like my friend here, Caleb. I am just a Phoenix LiveView user, and I'm not the kind of guy that could tell you everything about the internal workings of of LiveView. So hopefully I'm going to serve as an example of like what it's like to just be a normal user. And let's just see how it goes. Maybe I'm sure we're gonna make mistakes. I'm sure I'm gonna make mistakes. But we'll see how it goes. I'm excited.
I don't even know how to write an if statement in Elixir. I don't even know if you can write an if statement in Elixir. So we're gonna find. Can you? First question. Okay, there's if statements in Elixir. Good news.
What you can't do though is write loops, like like mutable kind of loops. You can do like for comprehensions kind of stuff, but you can't do like loops. But we'll get around that.
Yep. Okay. Sweet. So who should go first?
Okay. So let's lay down what we're gonna do. All right. So if you've been following us on Twitter, we have established something that we're gonna try out here. We're going to try out making a web app, and I'm going to use a technology stack that I don't know how to use. That's Laravel LiveWire, and Caleb is going to use a stack that he doesn't know how to use, which is Phoenix, Elixir, and Phoenix library called LiveView. And some background to this: I'm on a podcast, by the way, the Thinking Elixir podcast. Caleb's on a podcast. And we recently had Caleb on the Thinking Elixir podcast to talk about LiveWire, because we know that LiveWire was inspired by LiveView. And so we wanted to learn more about that and learn more about Caleb. So that episode actually just dropped today, so you can go check that out. But on that, we established like, all right, we got to try this out. We got to try making something in each other's stacks and see how that works, and see what can we learn from each other, because like this is both new stuff to us. So what we're going to do is we're going to build a Twitter app, right? And Caleb is going to show me how to build that in Laravel LiveWire, and then we'll take turns, and then I'll show Caleb how to make it in Elixir, LiveView, and Phoenix. So yeah, let's get it going. That's the game plan. We'll see how far we can get, and depending on how things go, we'll maybe we'll split this into a two-parter. We'll see how far we get.
So we could go back and forth in chunks. So maybe you start, and maybe the goal for you is to get to Hello World, like just to get something rendered in the browser. Then we'll switch to me. I'll get something rendered in the browser, and then we'll take it step by step.
All right. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Cool.
Okay. So I'm going to transition here. I'm going to have my browser up, but it's going to be dead. All right. So the goal is to get that to say Hello World. All right. And Caleb, you're in the bottom right for me. And let's see. Yeah. Let me make sure that stuff is not overlapping too bad here. I'll get my head up a little bit. Okay. So here's my desktop. I literally have not ever installed PHP. So we're talking from scratch. So what do I do?
Share your desktop with me on Zoom.
Yeah, that would be immensely helpful, wouldn't it?
Okay, yeah. That'd just be a bit of a lag otherwise.
Yeah. There we go.
Full Airbnb clones, says Mitchell Hamburg. He expects by the end of the stream. Of course. What do the Tailwind guys call their Airbnb clones? Like work something. Anyway.
Some job application thing? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Unfortunately, I lost a little bit of your face, though. Oh, well.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Zoom. So I'm on Linux. I understand you're on Mac, and I'm on Arch Linux. So what I can do is I'll just use my package manager, and I'll just do yay PHP. Yay is my package manager bit. So I see some stuff here. I see PHP. I see Composer down here. I see a bunch of other things. What am I going to need?
Yep. Sorry. Was looking at the chat. So actually, first thing, like they don't see my face on the chat. Is that possible?
Let's see.
To get my face is extremely important for the whole experience. Otherwise, my sarcasm just won't land. They'll think I'm just a jerk.
Sure. Here we go. Which, by the way, this is going to be recorded. This is being recorded, and I'll cut out some of the frustrations here. But let's see if I can get zoom ahead here, and I need to see. It's not going to do it, is it?
It's cool if we can. That's no problem.
Yeah, OBS isn't seeing the floaty window with Zoom.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Let me see here. Maybe I can do something real interesting here. Maybe I can do like a desktop capture here and just cut out that little part.
It's a really fancy fade around your cam.
Yeah, that was like an hour's worth of work. Okay. It's not even going to give... No, there it is. Screen capture. Okay. We're going to add another existing. We're going to do another one of these. Here we go. We're going to crop the crap out of this. Aha. All right. We're getting there. We're getting there. Here we go. All right, apologize for the inconvenience there. So we got it working now, I think, right?
Okay, so Valet Linux, people in the chat are recommending Valet Linux, and I don't know, I think that might be the quickest way for you to get up and running with Laravel, but you need Composer installed first. So that's the first step.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's get Composer installed.
All right,
which I think you need PHP for. So maybe let's just Google how to install Composer. And
it's right here. So I see it right here, Composer. And
okay. Oh yeah,
can
cool.
you see the...
Yep.
You can. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
So I got PHP and Composer. I'll do both of those. I bet you if I just did Composer, it'd probably bring in PHP too. All right. So I got PHP and Composer. There. You even see a little bit of my history. So, fun fact, I've literally not really done this. I've just ran this once. It didn't even work for me. So totally noobed here. All right. So what do I do now?
Okay. So you got Composer. Next step, go Google Valet Linux.
Yep.
And on that page under installation, just run that Composer global require something / Valet Linux.
All right. Let's see here.
Super laggy.
Yeah. Hold on. I've just realized I've made a mistake here. We're going to get rid of that on the screen. Nope.
Yeah, they're saying the whole thing is pretty choppy. What you're working on is that.
Here we go. It's pretty choppy.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Well, yeah, we should use Artisan Serve. No valet necessary. That's a good call. Okay, so yep. Sorry, we're not even gonna use the valet thing. But you already have Composer, and you needed Composer. Audio is good. Video is laggy. That's what they're saying.
I'm not sure what I can do about that.
Just too many streams or something, like in your OBS or stream or whatever. Is it? I don't know. Like,
let's see.
I think it's an OBS thing or a connection thing.
Bit rates 2500, CBR, all that should be going through my video card.
People weren't complaining before, so maybe get rid of my face and then go back to where we were before.
Okay, I'll just hide that then. We'll see how that works.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. It started lagging since you started sharing your screen via Zoom to Caleb. Oh.
It's freaking Zoom.
Oh.
Freaking Zoom.
Freaking Zoom. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? I don't know what to do, man. Because if you can't share my screen, I can like verbally tell you what to do or look at your 12 seconds ago screen, I guess. But there's.
I wonder if that live share thing, that VS Code live share thing, would be good.
Oh, right, because then you could not share, and I could look at. Yeah, that might not be a bad idea. It might still be tough, but bummer. Zoom the data hog. Some info about yourself, David. Okay. Darn it. What do you think? Do we try the live thing?
You know what? Like, if we're going to be doing this for an hour or two, I don't think that folks are going to want to see laggy, junky.
Okay, kill the screen share, and let's make sure that it's good without the screen share, and then yeah.
Okay, stop the share. There we go.
Oh yeah, Tuple. You're not on Tuple, are you? Do you have Tuple?
I don't.
Okay, that's fine. That might be actually a good option, but let's do. I'm gonna have to install Live Server. Live. It's called Live Server. Is that it? What is it called?
What do they call it? Live Share.
Live Share. Okay. Let's see if this works in like no time. That would be great. Otherwise, if I have to like install or actually log into Microsoft, it's over.
You have to log into GitHub at least.
Okay. All right. So I'm ready to join collaboration session, sign into Live Share. I'm going to continue as anonymous. See if that works.
Okay. So I'll try so you're starting one or am I starting one?
You start one.
All right. Here we go. Starting. I'll put it in the chat for you. There you go.
Okay.
Let's see if we get there.
Dokie doke. Which chat did you put it in?
Zoom chat.
Zoom chat. Got it. Okay. So many chats. Shoot. Okay. Open live. Let's see. VS Code. Join. Okay. It says joining.
Except
see how this does it.
if this is really you, anonymous and read only. You shouldn't be read only though, right?
Yeah, I don't know. It's waiting for host approval. Now I have it. Failed to update workspace folders. Error unable to write into the file because the file is dirty. Please save the file. I don't know what that means, but I think I see things. Yeah, I do.
You do?
Fun.
Okay, you should see LiveWire and LiveView folders, right?
Yeah, I do.
All right. Okay, so
this
let's
is freaking cool. I'm excited.
Let me kill my terminal then. This is gonna shift some things around. Let's see how this works. Here we go. Get that running over there. Move that over there. Okay. Let's see. Now I can probably... Yes, this is better. Now I can get...
Damn it. Still, or am I allowed to say damn it? Still a negative on the smoothness. Extremely choppy. Audio is great. Video is super laggy. Remove David's video, says someone. Question mark. Yeah, what's up with that? You
just
stopped
like
the screen
me
share,
from
right?
this equation.
Yeah, you definitely stopped the screen share. And interesting. Video's still bad laggy. The moon landing had a better picture. Ouch.
What?
Dude,
this might be a drag on the Radeon 5700 XT, because that's what this is. This should be like streaming from, like from my GPU.
So it all started after we either. Yeah, it says Zoom is very heavy on Linux. Interesting. Audio is crisp but very laggy. Bummer. Should I just get like OBS installed quick and just share my screen? Like maybe that'll work.
Willing to try it.
I mean, it might just be more trouble than it's worth, but
it means a new stream though.
Couldn't I just? Oh, you can't like swap it halfway through, or
I would
like if you stop streaming on OBS and I put in those stream keys into my OBS and start streaming, like YouTube wouldn't know the difference, right? So they're saying it was working before, So what should we do here? It's like troubleshooting stuff. Yeah. So maybe, how about this, David? How about you kill Zoom and we'll see if it gets faster so that we know.
Okay.
And then if it does get faster, I guess that's a good thing. I don't know. But yeah, kill Zoom and I'll be in the Telegram chat. So
okay. All right. Let's try. Let's try it out. All right. I'm killing it. Let's see how it works. Okay. So we're gonna lose Caleb for a little bit. Let's see. I'll get my phone up and make sure I got my telegrams. All right. When it was just the cams, it was fine. Oh, really? Okay. Let's transition over here. I can't imagine it being too bad. Like, this is my system is a AMD Ryzen 9 3900X. So like freaking good. Like it shouldn't be able to choke on this kind of stuff. The GPU encoding is happening. The video encoding should be happening on the GPU as well. So that shouldn't be CPU bound either. Like should be good. But understand that all this stuff is probably hard on things. So let's see here. Streaming 1080p. Maybe I can put it down to 30 frames. Yeah, let's see what happens there. Maybe that'll help. I got nothing else running really. I could completely close Zoom. There we go. Sometimes I know that likes to take up some stuff. Okay, so streaming 1080p 30, probably recording. We can do 1080p 60. CBR's bitrate is 2500 kilobits per second. All that is on the video card. Like, this should be good. All right, I'm gonna hit apply. Let's see how this goes. It's not working. So it could be maybe, oh shoot, really? 1 frames per second? Okay, restart. Let's try this out. Stop streaming. Okay. Yeah, this is, I see it now. That's pretty awful. Let me stop the replay buffer. Maybe that'll help. And I'll try stop recording. That's really bad. It's asking a lot to us. Okay. All right. Let's see what else we got here. So what other settings are there to tweak? There we go. Is this better? Hey, this seems to be better. I'm seeing good stuff from the feed now, right? I'm seeing a little bit of fluidity. I can see things not as choppy. All right. Okay, cool. Let's try this. So I, just for the record, I stopped the replay buffer and I stopped recording. Hopefully, maybe I'll just get the recording from YouTube after the fact. I think I can do that. So no big deal. Let's see how this goes. All right. I'll send you a new Zoom. Here we go. Okay. So while I'm doing that, you probably don't know a whole lot about me. So, and that's okay. I'm not a famous rock star developer or anything like that. My name's not known for anything, and that's the way I like it. But I am an Elixir developer, a normal Elixir developer. Not anybody that's made like a bunch of libraries. I didn't invent LiveView, Phoenix, Elixir, nothing. Just a regular Joe Schmo is how I'd like to think of it. And I work at a company. Here we go. Here comes Caleb. I work at a company called TaxJar, and TaxJar is an online sales tax collection reporting kind of thing. So, like, for example, if you're a store and you're selling stuff in the U.S. And you're shipping those things to like different states and stuff, like sales tax is crazy, and so TaxJar is the thing that works that helps you out with that. All right, getting you back, Caleb.
I'm here.
You're here. Okay. Here. So the feed seems to be much better. Hopefully, I don't know what YouTube is actually seeing. I'm hoping it gets 1080p and not like 720.
It
but
looks pretty fantastic.
Okay.
Right now.
Cool. Okay. Transition. Here we go. Got you back. Let me get. I need your Zoom face. Go. Add existing Zoom. Wrong Zoom.
Okay, let's see how this does. Because this was the part where everything just went downhill, right?
Yeah.
So maybe we'll stay uphill.
We'll see. Okay. Nope, don't want that one. Cool.
Okay, video still seems to be doing well. And I can actually see my face. I see the Zoom thing. Well, I suppose that's because we're not sharing screens. But we have this live thing going, so we could just keep trying this live thing, I suppose.
Yeah. Let's see how that goes. Let me zoom in a little bit. There we go. Now that things are a little bit crazy. We don't want that one. So I am also not a... trash that one. That's what I wanted.
I'm rejoining the session. Okay, we're good. Yep.
Cool.
So I'm not in read-only mode. Let me try to write something.
All right.
Can I edit and read? I'm going to request read-write access.
Yes. Do it.
And, okay. So now if I, dude, that's awesome.
That's in my terminal too. So like, you know.
Yeah. So RM-RF.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Back on track. So here we go.
Back on track. We're ready to go.
Starting now.
All right. So it is time for you. You have Composer installed, yes?
Yes. Let's check. Yes.
Okay.
Screen.
So I think your next step is to install the Laravel installer. So let's maybe Google like Laravel installer.
Documentation.
And
Install.
then, yeah. So Composer Global require Laravel installer.
So
and then you should have a command. Yep.
Oop, let me kill that. I want to do that in the LiveWire.
It is crazy how real time I'm seeing your stuff. It's so cool.
Well, that's good.
It's awesome. I used this once and it just wasn't a great experience, but that was just when it came out. So clearly it's a little more solid. David will receive a free VS Code overhaul.
Yeah, that's right. You have a freaking book on this, don't you?
There is a book. Yep, it does exist.
All right. I got Laravel installed.
Nuno says just do Composer create project. It's faster. So everybody's saying skip the installer. We will not. We already have it. How could we skip it? Okay. So I'm going to type in really quick Laravel just to see what happens. And yeah, the command's not found because the Composer binary directory isn't in your path.
Let's fix that then, huh?
Yeah. So Composer binary.
Let's see if let me do that over here because I know what my environment looks like here. Y'all don't look. Okay, so I should already have some things that are going into my path. Yeah, here we go. So is this did this go into my like a folder somewhere?
Yes.
Composer.
Looking right now to see. Okay. Where's path? Path.
There it is. So it looks like I need config. Totally guessing here. Config composer. Yes, I think you are correct.
Nice.
In the chat there. Vendor bin. If that exists, then add it to my path. Ugh, gotta type all that out again. Composer. Vendor bin. Boop. I'm just going to copy paste that here.
Okay.
So now I have Laravel. Look at that.
All right, nice. So from the directory where we're going to put this project, well, you already have the directory all set up, right? This. Oh, okay. So maybe like cd into LiveWire view, the root folder, and let's do. Oh
my gosh, where's my?
Yeah. I don't even know, like, can you do Laravel new and then a dot for the current path? So let's try that. Laravel new and then dot.
Sorry, I just realized I messed up something in my Zush. I forgot to add my, like, the rest of my path. So I just, like, completely obliterated my terminal. We're going to kill that.
Okay.
And we're going to open that again. Hopefully this gets us back to...
Okay.
Okay, yeah, we're good. All right. Laravel.
Yep, so Laravel new dot for the current directory.
Okay.
Guessing this will work, and it looks like it's working. Application already exists.
How does it already exist?
Yeah, I think it's just seeing that there's something in this folder. So how about we just remove this LiveView folder completely? And then from the root directory, LiveWire view, we can Laravel new LiveView or LiveWire.
Okay. All right. We'll nuke LiveWire. Just delete that. Laravel new LiveWire? Is that going to like assume the app is called LiveWire?
Yes.
Oh, do I want that?
Oh, I don't know. It's going to create a new folder called LiveWire, which is what you had. Okay, if you want it to be called something else, people are saying just type Laravel new into the directory you want to install Laravel into.
Just like that? Like Laravel new LiveWire?
Yeah, that'll work. Let's do that.
Okay.
And then it should create that new LiveWire directory.
Yeah.
Yep, there it is. I am still super impressed with this live share thing. So good. It's amazing. Okay.
All right.
So this is scaffolding the app and installing all the composer dependencies. The equivalent of like create React app or something.
Mm-hmm.
So like Laravel itself has its own composer package, but this is like the scaffolding that requires Laravel, within it.
Gotcha.
And
so
this
Phoenix
is really
does something similar. Yeah.
Okay. I don't think anybody creates a Laravel app outside of either Laravel new or create project with Composer. Like creating a Laravel app from scratch is something that you're not even meant to do,
Build something amazing. I am ready.
Okay. So you have it installed. Next step would be PHP Artisan. Artisan is like the helper thing. So if you type PHP Artisan and hit enter.
So I went into the LiveWire folder. I assume that's what I need to do, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And PHP Artisan. Okay. So these are all the helper commands in Laravel. So you can create migrations and models and clear the cache and do all sorts of stuff from here.
Okay.
So what we want to do is PHP Artisan serve, and that's going to get a web server set up for us.
Okay. PHP Artisan serve. Let's see if it works. Localhost 8000. Boom. It is here. And I'm sorry, some of our faces will be over the web part here. Here, I'm going to move this a little bit more.
And I'm going to have to look at the live stream to see the browser for now. But okay, so there it is. I see the hello world. You have that set up. So while we're at it, so that's it. You have Laravel now. You're totally good to go. It's served and ready. Yeah. So that's good news.
So what's showing me this page? I assume there's a controller that's took the GET request and there's a template somewhere. Is that right?
Yes. So let's show you the path through the app to that page, and then we can replace that with the Twitter scaffolding thing.
Okay, cool.
So everything starts in the routes file. So routes web.php. So the concept is like the routes folder is all routes are entry points into your app. So there's API, which is where you'd put like JSON routes, API endpoints, channels, and like console where you'd create console commands, and then web where you have like web routes. But really web is the main one. That's really the only one I ever use.
Okay.
So you could probably grok what's going on just right there.
So there's a welcome template, I assume.
Yes.
Aha.
So from route : get quick. Let me just show you something really quick. You can pass in a closure. So this is just a callback function, and you could literally return like hey, which is just an array, and then you basically have a JSON endpoint. Or if you don't want to use a closure, you can pass in controllers. So like some controller. I guess it would be like, I don't know, what's the best way to do this? It'd be like some controller at, and then the method, like the index method or something.
So the at symbol tells it what method to use? Yeah,
and I guess that's kind of an antiquated syntax now. You would pass in the controller class, and then, let me see if I know how to do this. Yeah, this kind of tuple syntax where you have an array where the first item is the controller and the second item is the method.
Gotcha.
So I think that's the more established way to do that. But the thing we're not even going to use controllers here. We're just going to use the closure. And then when we get into LiveWire, you can pass LiveWire components directly in here. So if we create like a show tweets LiveWire component, you would just pass in the LiveWire component right into the route. So okay. There's the little routing tutorial. Make sense?
I think so. So I have to say that it's the class because I'm assuming Laravel will know to take a new instance of it and to use that instance's version of or method of index or whatever, right? Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
So right now we're returning a view, and this is going to use Blade's, like the Blade templating engine, just like what do you have? EX?
EEX, yeah, embedded Elixir.
EEX. Okay. So these are all stored in. When I'm manipulating this sidebar, you're not seeing it, right? You're not seeing me manipulate your file. Okay. So inside of resources, this is all kind of front end. Everything front end lives in resources. That's all the assets, but not the public assets. This is just kind of like the pre-build step stuff, CSS, JS. Lang is for localization, and then views. And then views is where you put all your Blade views. So you see the welcome.blade.php there.
So if I change this to foo, I will write that. I see the title. Cool.
Nice. So did you changed return view to return view foo from welcome to foo?
I just changed the title up here, so I'm on welcome.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I thought
template.
Just the live share was like glitching out or something. I gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So this is it. So let's you can wipe the entire welcome actually, and just paste in my GitHub gist.
All right. Doing it. Oh, did that? I don't think that did it. Okay, undo. There we go. I think that did it. All right, refresh. Oh my goodness, got some responsiveness things here. Let me make this a little bit bigger, right around there. Okay, this seems to be where it's okay. So I see, and I'm sorry, Caleb, you gotta wait to see this.
Oh man.
I see the Twitter, I see your face, I see the what's happening, the tweet button, the character count, and I see some error, and I see
looking pretty
the
bad.
tweet.
Is it why does it look so bad? Like it's not loading the proper CSS or something, or BG, I wonder, is it
go
like
down here and let me make sure I didn't like
bad
reject anything.
Yeah, I'll check myself.
Seems fine.
What is it? Is it like a bad Tailwind version? No, it's Tailwind. BG.
I don't see Tailwind being loaded.
It should be a link, like a CDN up there. Do you not have Tailwind there?
I don't see it being loaded in my network tab. I see Alpine being loaded. I see an image.
Are you filtering? Oh, you're not filtering by JS. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. The issue is definitely Tailwind, but look at that tweet button. It's like
it looks legit.
It is. The tweet button is working great. Let me see. So I'm inside your thing, and I'm gonna, like, you see my cursor, right? Like I'm highlighting. This is the Tailwind CDN, and you're not seeing that, huh?
No, I'm not in the requests in any way. So let me force reload here. I do now. I actually do see it.
Okay. Is everything all fixed now? If you force reload,
it still looks exactly the same.
Really?
What am I missing here? I see white boxes with nothing in it. Is that?
Oh yeah. I mean, I guess you're missing. Honestly, it looks like just a background color problem. Maybe you don't have BG Cool Gray for whatever reason.
That's a Tailwind UI color. Is that right?
Yeah, okay. I do have the Tailwind UI CDN included though, which is why you'd think that it would work, but it's not. So
yeah, I do see the Tailwind UI.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's fine for now. I mean, that looks okay. BG Cool Gray is Tailwind UI. I know. If I go to my computer and if I load up, what did I call this? LiveWire or LiveView. What? Let me find this. Okay, I called mine Learn LiveView.
Do we need Tailwind as well as Tailwind UI?
Good question. I don't think so. I mean, if I load, mine looks great, and all I have is Tailwind UI. What in the world could be different? Funny. Oh man, maybe it's just something weird. I don't know. I guess we could change. maybe just change every BG cool to just BG hyphen. So that's BG gray instead of BG cool gray.
Let me try one. Let me try the Tailwind CDN real quick. In addition to Tailwind UI, let's see what happens.
Sure.
So there it is. What do we got? Gonna insert. So I'm using Vim mode in here, by the way, but it's not quite what I'm used to.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see. Does that fix it? Let's
see. I doubt it because the cool gray is the thing that's not showing up, and that's exclusive to the Tailwind UI.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to change anything. All right, I'm gonna remove it.
Yeah, and just change every BG cool gray to just BG gray, and it just won't look as cool. Pun intended.
Okay. So just those three, it looks like. All right. So it's not as cool, but I still see the white boxes on the sides. Am I supposed to be seeing
do
that?
you? Maybe it's just, you are supposed to see that. Maybe you see the right thing and I don't. For whatever reason. Like the page that's coming through just looks totally washed out. And so you probably see something that looks fine. Like does what you see look like passable? Or does it look horrendous?
It looks good. I think there's some like loading icons. I'm suspecting that these loading icons are not sized correctly. I'm not sure what these are yet.
Anyway, okay. Well, I mean, from what I see, the sizing looks okay. Well, it's also not necessarily responsive, so you have it at a pretty constrained width. So yeah, it probably looks pretty garbage.
It's probably
fine that too.
We can tweak as we go.
Let me just for fun, so you can see what I see. I took a quick screenshot and threw it in Telegram. If you're comfortable opening Telegram on the stream or whatever.
You're the only person I talk to on this.
Okay. All right. This looks vastly different than what you're seeing, right?
Oh. Yeah. No. Okay. I do see the squares. Yours is a little bit different colors. Everything looks blown out white though.
Yeah. Yep. I think it's just like an OBS thing because every page looks blown out white. Now I'm seeing double blown out white because it's going through the Zoom twice or the stream twice. Okay.
All right.
So
this is probably fine.
Yeah. Whatever. Good enough. All right. So I think that's the first check mark. Should we switch to my screen? Get my Hello World set up?
Yeah. Well, we're looking at your screen. Yes. Let's do that. You share your screen, I reckon, and let's see how I can get it up over the web browser. So that way we're looking at yours.
Yep. And then, yeah. Okay. Sounds good. And so far, what's your review of the Laravel?
Okay. So the install, pretty straightforward. There's nothing I can complain about. It's pretty similar to what like Phoenix and Elixir is doing so far. You have to install the language. You have to go get your framework of choice. In this case, it was Laravel, and we're still telling Laravel to start a new project. It scaffolds a bunch of normal stuff, a hello world kind of page with documentation stuff. Phoenix does the same thing. So this that all seems very comparable. I'm assuming that there's a difference here. Maybe this is just how we're going to play it out for now. But the welcome blade PHP. Normally, I assume that wouldn't include the entire HTML tree, right? I'm assuming that at some point there's like a layout kind of thing that includes all the head stuff, maybe a tiny bit of the body, and then we start including things, right? Yeah. But we kind of skip that part here. Does that sound right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So I'm sharing, but I'm not seeing my screen on the thing yet.
We'll be there in a second.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I see it. Yep. It's just got to be sized properly. So can you blow me up to like the full width there?
Yeah. There we go.
Okay. Ad block. Oh, why is ad block like immoral? Okay. Or is Jacob, you're talking about ad block being the cause of the CDN issue. Okay, if whites are washed, then your share is also going to be washed out, Caleb Porzio? Yeah, I suppose it will be. Yeah, okay. So, yes, it is washed out. That's so weird. Oh, and we're getting that the tunnel. Okay. So you can see my screen, yes?
I can, yeah.
Okay. So it is time to show me what's up. Let's okay. So I'm just going to create so I guess I already have a folder called Learn LiveView. And how do I get out of this collaboration session? All right, so I have this folder, and right now I just have the scaffolding. I'm going to remove the scaffolding, and now I have a clean slate, and I have nothing installed. So it's time.
All right, and you're on Mac, I assume, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So it should be I'm on Linux, so we're gonna try this out here. I'm gonna learn with you a little bit. It's been a while, so we'll try it out. I think it's as simple as brew install Elixir, and that will also install Erlang. So in case you don't know what Elixir is a functional language that compiles and uses Erlang, which is another language invented in the 80s, I think. It's been out there for quite a while. The big shining thing about Erlang is that it's got this ecosystem inside of it. It's kind of like a mini operating system. So if you open up like your process viewer on your computer, like on Windows, you got your task manager, you see all those different processes that are going on. That's kind of like what your operating system manages. And Erlang has a similar thing, and we call that OTP, and OTP stands for OTP now. So it used to stand for Open Telecom Platform, but that's not as important anymore. So Elixir is a new language, I think, since 2014, I think, that just uses Erlang. So you get all the nice stuff that Erlang has, but in a syntax that is a little bit more script friendly, if you could say. I don't know if script is the right word. So all that to say is that when you're installing Elixir, you're not just installing Elixir and using Elixir, you're also using Erlang. So installing it gets a little bit funky there. Wow, your brew is like deciding to upgrade everything to like Python.
Yep. Give it time, and it's just going to be 20 minutes, 25 minutes. All right. Yeah, we're getting everything here. Oh man, homebrew, come on. In the meantime, unless you got something?
No, I see the recommendation to check my YUV color range, so I'm going to look there, see if that maybe helps.
Right. Yep. Washing. Okay.
So I can't remove Nginx. Okay. I can't change it now, and that's probably because it's streaming. But the color format is I420, color space is 709, color range is full. I don't know. Since I can't change it, I don't know if there's something I can do about that right now.
Okay. I think I have what I need. Let me just respond. Is there a LiveWire equivalent of Phoenix Presence? I'm guessing that's like presence channels, like real-time presence channels and stuff.
Oh, right. Yeah, I think that has something to do with WebSockets. Yeah,
anything real-time and push, like I'm narrating as I'm commenting. Anything real-time and push like in LiveWire comes from Laravel Echo, which has presence channels and all that stuff, and that uses Pusher or any WebSocket server, and LiveWire does work with that. So you can hook those two together and have all that stuff. Okay, so I think I have Elixir. So what happens if I do this?
It seems to work.
Happens. Cool.
All right. Cool.
Okay.
So just like so we had to, with PHP, I had to go fetch Composer as well, the dependency manager. Elixir ships with its own, and it's called Mix. Mix is the dependency manager. So nice. Great, you have Mix. So what we need to tell Mix to do is go grab Phoenix and the installer for Phoenix. So if you open up the Phoenix framework guides, you should see an installation guide there, just like Laravel.
Okay. Not LiveView. Okay. Phoenix framework.
I think we want guides at the top.
Okay.
Get started probably takes us
Nice. I
like
like that color scheme. All right. And then installation.
So we got Elixir, we got Erlang.
Okay.
So we're past those points.
Gotcha.
Now we want Phoenix.
Here's our thing. We want. This is the thing, the app generator.
That's the thing.
This is the thing. Okay.
It's also going to assume you have npm installed, which I assume you do.
Yes. Okay.
Oh, look at that. Okay, cool. So we need hex. Did the guide say anything about that? We may have skipped that.
I don't know, but I type Y, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry.
We want it. Is it at the bottom of the screen here?
Yeah, I just got to resize it. We're good. Yes, we want to install all that.
All right, I'll bump this up a little bit. Okay, do you want to install Phoenix New? Yeah, probably. Okay. All right, so now this is, we have that now, right? Yeah, because we installed Hex and Phoenix New.
Yep.
I have Node. I have Postgres, I think. I don't know. Not sure if we'll need it.
Yeah, it should be everything you need.
Okay, awesome. So, what happens now?
So, yeah, up and running.
So this is the thing here.
That's the thing. Yep. And we want to add a flag to it because we're interested in LiveView.
Okay.
So Phoenix by itself, it doesn't include LiveView. So we could walk through those steps of adding LiveView to the project, but there's some boilerplate in there. It'd be quicker for us to just use the flag from Phoenix to include LiveView for us. So that's just going to skip a couple of boilerplate steps for us.
Okay.
So we can do mix phoenix.new. You can name it whatever you want. Hello.
So if I name it something, it's going to put it in a subdirectory, right?
Yeah, it is going to do a subfolder.
So yeah, let me do it from the command line. So we'll say, what was that? What is it?
Mix. phx.new.
Okay.
We'll try this out. All right.
And then flags.
And we want to add -- live to this. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. And this is it here?
I think so. Let's see what happens.
Here we go.
Yeah, I thought this would happen. So, naming conventions. Yeah. Let's
no
see
problem.
Yeah.
Fetch and install. Yes, please. Okay.
Cool.
We're getting it going.
Mm-hmm. So this is doing a lot like what Composer was doing earlier for me. You notice that it has a step there. It says it's running mix deps.get. So in the project that it's scaffolded here, you can see all the files it just laid out. It wrote out your project, your base project file, which includes a list of dependencies. And now we're just telling mix to go fetch those dependencies.
Right. Okay. Then configure your database. So skip the database configuration. And we're going to do, then configure database, start your Phoenix app with. All right. So this is, you can also run your PHP app inside. So this is what I want, right?
Yeah. Let's see see if it works. Because when I do this and there's a database, it usually requires that database to be around.
Okay. Could not find rebar. Build dependency. Do I need rebar?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
So so Elixir has mix, and Erlang has rebar. So it's kind of like brother projects,
Gotcha.
I guess you could say.
Got it.
But mix is first class, so it's built by the Elixir people. Rebar might as well be, but again, I'm not an Erlang person, so I might have this wrong, but Rebar is a community project that's basically, the thing you would use for Erlang stuff.
Yep. Okay. All right. Downloading things and config.
Yeah, lots of config.
Okay.
Oh, you desperately need some syntax highlighting.
Yeah, Elixir. Is this the one?
Yeah, I'd do that one. Yeah, Elixir LS.
All right.
That one's good.
Okay. The fan's going.
Yeah, that's going to take a while. Yeah, that little dialyzer Elixir PLT thing. So we won't get into that. That's going to be a slow part. That's why your fans are running probably. But Elixir and Erlang has this tool called Dialyzer, which is kind of like type checking things, but in runtime. We'll skip that whole topic of conversation, but it can make some fan spin. Yeah, and just like I suspected here,
this is the DB. To boot. So I need to just kill this process and configure the DB thing.
Yeah, let's try it out.
Okay, so kill.
Yeah, do it one more time. Control CC. There you go.
Okay, so where do we configure databases?
Cool.
Dev.
Yeah, you figured it out. Yep, just dev.exs. That's
interesting. So these are how you configure per environment.
Yeah. So the project really starts in mix.exs. And that's just like defining your project, like the name of it and your list of dependencies down there. And then Mix will also look at what environment it's currently in, and it defaults to dev. And there's three environments generally: dev, prod, and test. You'll notice there's another just generic config.exs. That's the one where it's just every environment.
Yeah. Okay.
So you were right. We want to go into dev because this is a dev only.
Okay.
Just dev only config here.
All right. So we want dev, and then we want configure database right up top. Okay. So we need a Postgres database. Yes.
That's what it generated with first. So yeah, you need that up.
Can it use like SQLite or something, or MySQL?
It can. We would have to if you.
All right, let me try a magic trick and see if this does it easily. Takeout, enable.
What's takeout?
Yeah, so bad. You probably can't see any of this. I'm like squinting. Okay. Postgres. So which port? 5432.
Standard. Sure.
Latest Postgres. What will the password for password? Okay. Take out the agency I used to work at just came out. Titan came out with this package called Takeout that just makes like quickly spinning up and pausing Docker instances for standalone databases really easy.
Oh, okay.
So now I have a Postgres database. And
you had the. Oh,
what's that?
Did it say root? Was your username?
I don't know. I feel like if it didn't, it was implied.
It'd be down. I think I saw it there. The little parts in the brackets up a little bit. Of the Postgres quotes there. I'm assuming the user is Postgres.
Oh, got it. Weird. Okay, that's standard. Postgres. Okay, Postgres, and then the password, and then the database is. Did I establish that? Have I created?
It'll create that for you. Mix will create that for you.
Okay. And then host name, local host.
The port will just know it's the default unless you specify it. So you use the right one.
Let me open a new connection and see if I can just connect to it real quick. Postgres, LiveView, host port, Postgres, password, and connect. Okay, sweet.
Cool. Connect.
All right. So we have Postgres, and that's good. So now I can retry this.
You can. It's probably going to fail again.
Okay.
If you remember when we generated the Mix project, the Phoenix project, it had a list of steps. One of those steps was creating the database, right? So you have the database there, which is great. So now it can connect to it and create that specific database called Laravel and LiveView dev. So that step, we could scroll up and find it, but it's mix ecto.create.
Oh, yeah. So this was whatever. Okay. Yep. Mix ecto.create like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to scaffold the database.
Yep, that's just creating the database. Doesn't even run migrations yet. There's another command for that, but we don't have any.
And now if I refresh, no database selected. Learn LiveView dev now exists. Okay.
Cool. Now you can start your server, and it should be able to connect and all that.
Okay. All right, nice. So database is like a first-class citizen in a Phoenix app.
In my experience, almost all of my Phoenix apps have a database that's backed it. You can feed in a flag that says we don't need a database here, and it would skip a lot of this stuff. But we're going to store tweets in a database, so I think that's what we want here.
Yep. Okay. Cool. All right. So
we looked at ecto before, so like that command was mix ecto.create, and ecto is that first class library that manages database stuff. Like
got it.
Your ORM. Yeah.
Okay. And ecto is the thing that handles all the like reacting to changes and stuff. Like.
Not necessarily. I mean, you could probably get there if you wanted to do pub sub stuff with your database, but
okay, but no, ecto is just the ORM.
Right, just the ORM.
Great. Okay, so now this is just going to sit here and watch because it's Webpack watching, right?
This is your server.
So
and also notice here it started up Webpack for you.
Right.
It's also it also started up Webpack and it has that watching your JavaScript and CSS stuff. So
got it.
We're done. We got it.
All right. We are rolling.
So if you wanted to look at this like I did, to get it like you did with me with your scaffold, your template.
Okay.
We can go find where this is being rendered, and we can we can put in your.
So
your
my
stuff.
fan is still going nuts. Is that the dialyzer thing?
Yeah, that's dialyzer, and it'll calm down eventually.
Okay, so it's
and it shouldn't have to do that anymore. Like it won't go nuts after it's done its initial thing. The first spin up is terrible. After that, it's good. And for some computers out there that may be really underpowered, that VS Code plugin has a way to turn that off.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So give it a little bit. If it doesn't turn off, I might hunt down that setting. Okay. So something about a super loud laptop fan just like gives me anxiety while I'm working. It's just like put some urgency on this.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's telling me things. All right. Sorry.
Good. So it's saved. So it should be done. Your fan should calm down now.
Great. All right. So walk me through the entry point.
Yeah. Okay. So in some languages, and Elixir is one of them, there's like usually your source folder or your lib folder or something like that where most of your code lives.
Yeah.
In Elixir land, that's going to be lib. So a lot of your stuff is in lib.
Yep.
And there's stuff that can support you outside of that. So like deps, we don't care about deps. That's just all of those dependencies that were pulled down
like node modules.
Yeah. So that's like other people's code. You probably won't ever mess with that.
Gotcha.
Elixir LS is that plugin. That's the language server. You'll never go in there.
Okay.
Build is like the compiled artifacts. You'll never go in there. So there's a lot to ignore here. And usually editors will just like you can configure your editor to like just totally ignore them so they don't show up.
Okay.
So the entry point here from the web perspective is going to be under lib, and you'll notice there's two folders here: Learn LiveView and Learn LiveView Web.
Okay.
So there's this architectural kind of guidance here that anything that touches the web is like a different domain, and anything that doesn't touch the web, maybe your core business logic, for example, that could have any interface that connects with it, like a CLI, for example, that would live under Learn LiveView, like your core app. It's not necessarily connected to the concerns of serving up web requests.
Right.
So like in our world, even though tweet is basically always web-based, like in our world, a tweet will be something that is a core business logic thing,
sure.
right? So that won't go under web. But for the web request, of course, we're going to look under web.
Okay.
So
the equivalent in Laravel, I think, is like app is where everything lives. Then inside of app, there's HTTP. So like models is domain, all this stuff is domain until HTTP. That's when you have controllers, your LiveWire components, middleware, anything that's, web access related.
Yeah. Cool. HTTP. Okay. Got it.
So, okay.
So then, for the web request, we're going to look at let's start at endpoint, because that's technically where it really comes in. But honestly, we're not going to be messing with this too much, but this is where like the first connection comes in.
Okay.
And remember, we're in a functional language now, and there's some meta programming that's happening right now. So if to read this, you really just start from the top and you read bottom, and that's how the data is actually flowing. That's how the connection is flowing from here. And so we have a library called Plug. Plug is a popular library in Elixir that will manage a connection. And so when the web request comes in, there's one connection there, and that connection is mutated as it goes down this file. And at some point, you see at the very end, it hits your router, right?
Got it.
So there's no routes in here. This is just like all that stuff that you generally have to do on your connection anyway. Things like, we're going to add telemetry. We're going to add, session stuff. Parsing the head out of it.
Method override, like so you can spoof like a patch or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. All right. I dig. Yeah. Logger here. All right. So this is like middleware, sort of.
Yep. Just like middleware.
And then we can go into the router. This is where we have the router. And
we have two things kind of going on here. We have pipelines and we have scopes. Pipelines, this is also more metaprogramming stuff.
Okay, so this is not Elixir per se. This is Phoenix, like macroing the Elixir language to provide these pipeline and plug operations.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Like technically what's happening is that this is all happening at compile time, and you're calling a method called pipeline and plug that generate functions at compile time. Okay. And this whole thing is pattern match. So as the connection flows down, at some point, like there's a request path, for example, like the route, and that gets pattern matched down at some point to the routes that you define here. So it's not like think of it as a big giant case statement, like if the route is this, if the route is that, do these things.
Yeah.
But in Erlang and Elixir, that is compiled out, and it's like done at the function signature head.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So like, this is going to be a really loose connection here for my brain, but like if there's like in PHP, if you had do something that accepted some parameter, you could also have it, like this doesn't exist in PHP, but let's say that you had something like when foo is equal to hey, or maybe specify that like this do something method accepts hey, this one accepts there. And these are two separate method signatures denoted by their parameter patterns. So the pattern matching is like matching the parameters to the function itself. And that's somehow what Elixir is doing at compile time when you're doing scope. This thing, you're actually sort of defining a function signature that is going to get pattern matched at compile time.
Yeah.
Well, at runtime,
that's like really oversimplifying it, but basically what's going on.
That's like that's the edge of my like abilities. So that's okay.
But we do that because like we need it to be easy to define routes, right? Like people like in PHP and in Rails, like this is how you define routes. And
the funny thing is, I don't know why it's hard.
Yeah.
Like why is this like what's hard? That's the thing. Like my brain doesn't understand because I don't understand. Elixir is like, why is this? Like why did you have to do something fancy to get to something simple like this?
Yeah. So let me clarify a little bit. Like this is some metaprogramming stuff. We don't have to understand how Phoenix works at this, like at the extreme level to know to like be able to use it successfully. But like before when we were looking at the endpoint, we noticed that there was a bunch of plugs, and the way the connection goes down is just from top to the bottom.
Yeah.
This router here is not. It is technically doing the same thing, but we can think of it a little bit more declaratively here. So like I am declaring there's a pipeline called browser, there's a pipeline called API. The connection, when that pipeline is used, is going to flow downward like that using all those plugs. So the connection comes into a plug called accepts, does some stuff, modifies the connection, passes the same connection out that's been mutated, and it goes right into the next plug, keeps on going all the way down. The scope is a way to just like separate big areas of your router, but it's also constructing how to match that path, that request that comes in and by the path. And we're going to pass that connection through those pipelines we had earlier defined, like browser, right?
Yep.
And then we have one route right now, which is just live, page live, and index, right? So we're defining the scope. Like the base route basically is just root, just that slash. And then within that, we're just saying there is no path. It's just the root path. Yep. We're going to declare a LiveView route, and it's going to be by this live component. It's not live component, actually means something different. We're going to call that page live. Yep. And this is going to manage the rest of that connection. And
so we said page live and we said index. So I would be looking for index here, which I don't find.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. LiveView has a it's trying to like bridge the gap between like normal controllers with like methods like show and index and delete and that kind of stuff. I'm actually going to take a step back though, and we're going to ignore some of that at some point. But this is what they generated. There's something here. Is the action, which I'm not seeing in the code yet, but there's something here that will match on that action and render the right thing. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know, but this is the HTML template here, and somewhere we specified the layout back here in router. Put root layout at the browser at this pipeline. So then when we piped it through browser, the templating engine knew what layout to render. Yes?
Yep.
Okay. Which presumably templates layout. Okay. Or is it views layout view?
Yeah. I love that this is separated, templates and views. Views is your logic for rendering your templates. Templates are just the HTML. It could be Markdown.
Okay, interesting. So views have like, so views have both like a logic and a HTML portion.
You could put in HTML in there, but you generally you don't. It could be like logic to help your templates though. So you can,
right, but that's what I'm saying is like a view, like layout view, has both this component, but then it also has like an HTML component, right? Like corresponds to what? I don't learn live view web. Use learn live view web : view. So where is view? View. I don't see.
So what's happening here? The use and then the view. That's just we can dive into that, but that's probably not as important to understand. That's just saying that's like your boilerplate. That's hiding your boilerplate. So if you wanted to look at where your boilerplate was, you can go under learn live view web.ex. It's down a little bit.
Web.ex.
Right there. So this is where a lot of boilerplate gets like imported into your views, your templates, whatever. This is like where you hide boilerplate basically. You notice that there's controller, there's view, there's live view, live component,
so this is
router.
What's referenced there.
Exactly.
So when you def something, is that just like a constant, like what is, so this is a function, and then like, what is this? Is that calling a function?
That's an atom. And that's normally how there's a way of expressing like the module, the function, and the arity or the arguments. So if you think of like a tuple, you could specify like the module is the first item, the second item would be the function you want to call, and then the third item would be the arguments you want to pass into that. So there's a little bit of that going on here. But oh yeah, thanks Mitchell. You're right. I forgot about that. So the index in the router is how it's generating the path helpers. That's why we don't see it so much in the live view. So I forgot about that. Thank you for clarifying. So that's a little bit confusing. So if you remember, index paths, they're just a regular GET request on everything, right? Just give me everything. It's no ID, no nothing. That's just what happens to be what we're doing here on Page Live. It's the index of pages, but like we don't have a list of pages to give. That's just how we're doing the path generation thing to make it match.
Okay, so I don't have a lot of dots connected, but I think for brevity, I should just try to get the template going in here.
Yeah.
So let's grab that gist. Oh man. Oh my gosh, what am I doing? Clicking around like a buffoon, and everybody's seeing the things I talk to people about on Telegram. Okay.
So something we can do here for brevity's sake is like, you notice how we have our layout separated from our view. Mm-hmm. You can just paste the whole thing in here in Page Live. Yeah. And in our layout, we can just kill everything in there.
And then layout. Where's layout? Which one?
Yeah. So this actually confuses me a little bit, but we have templates, layout, we got app, live, and root. So each of those, yep. So there's different points of when these things are rendered, but let's just kill all of these things. So you don't have to, don't delete it. Let's just remove any content inside.
Okay. All right. So that's Page Live.
I instructed you incorrectly. Sorry. Let's go back to one of those layouts. Can you hit undo? Yeah. All right. There's one important piece here. You see the third line from the bottom? Inner content. That's the only piece we need. We can kill everything else.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me do one of these bad boys. Okay. So, all right. We need inner content. I mean, should I just like skip ahead and just do this? Like,
if you want to cut it up, sure.
Yeah. So let's just do that. So inner content's going to be, let's say in center content, compose tweet. Let's say I'm going to do it right here.
Perfect.
And then this whole thing gets cut out. Okay. And then, yep. All right. And then this Page Live EX, this is where I'm going to paste it in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay. And now
we have some confusing stuff.
Okay.
Like I mentioned, there's like three layouts there.
Yep.
So we only did one of them. So let's kill some
right.
stuff.
We have to kill these ones. So
yeah, we still want that inner content.
Oh, still need inner content. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then okay.
All right. Now, hey.
Okay. Okay, that's what I was getting at, Mitchell. I recognize that from Ruby. Yep. Okay. Cool. All right. So that's that. I think I am to where you got. Mm-hmm. And so let's define our next objective, and then I can hit it back to you. So is the next objective to maybe get tweets set up as like a database table and a model, seed it with maybe like 3 tweets, and then show them here?
Sure. Okay. Yeah, let's do that.
So I'll stop my share, and then you go for it.
All right. I'll size you back down. Get this going again here. Okay, cool. So we're in our live share here. So what I'm assuming I need to do is I need to set up a class to model the tweet. I need to so you did this with Phoenix. You created the database. I don't know if I need to create a database here and how to manage that connection. Let's start there. How do I do that?
Yeah. So is there a way with this live share where you can control what file I'm seeing?
That I don't know, but
because that's kind of a hang up. Like I have to keep like it if I'm only seeing one file, it's like I'm not actually seeing anything you're doing.
So we have to be in the same file to see what's going on.
So I wonder if I'm just going to hop into settings really quick and see if there is, or did I say live view? I meant live share. Allow guest tasks, allow guests to run and determine workspace tasks, allow guests to start and stop, allow guest approval. Okay. Connect type of connection used for collaboration. The default mode prefers a direct connection. No, I'm looking for something that, follow participant in the live share sidebar. Thank you. Live share. Okay. So in the live share sidebar, I see that. What am I doing? I want to follow a participant. So follow to the side? Whatever. Okay. Can you test this by changing files?
Yeah. I went to database.
Okay. I'm in now. I'm in.
Cool.
Okay. I see this. So, all right. So models in Laravel. So there's models that map to tables. You create migrations to migrate the database to create the table. Then you have a model that represents that table. So I think what we're going to do is use use Artisan to, am I seeing your terminal shared? Okay. Yeah, you'll need a new terminal session. I don't know if we can share multiple. Yeah. Okay, perfect. So let's make a model, PHP Artisan make :model, and then type in capital T tweet, and then also do -m. Should we just do -m? Let's say, sure. Let's do -m. Yep, which is going to create the migration to coincide with the model.
Could not open input file.
I think you need to CD into the LiveWire directory.
Oh, I do. Thank you. All right.
Okay, so it created two files now. There's a model file. So if you Command P and type in tweet.php, that'll open up. Yep. So it's just a class that extends the root Laravel model class. Yeah, that's it. So then it also created a migration. So if you go to create tweets table, that file, you just search for create tweets table. It'll go to database/migrations/. So here it's like schema, create tweets, and then it's kind of set you up with a primary key and timestamps for created at and updated at. Yeah, so create a string. So that's just string is the method name. And then you pass in the name of the field to string.
Single quotes or double quotes? Do they mean
single quotes? Either works.
Okay.
But yeah, single is a rule of thumb.
So just what are we modeling here? We
need so I don't know. What do you want to call this? This would be body, I suppose. Like a tweet body and an author is probably all we need for now.
Okay. And just really, to simplify things, we'll just make author a string or something.
Yeah, and we don't even need author, right? Like just to be completely not fancy, we could literally just have body, and that's the contents of the tweet, and just assume the same author, so we don't have to like get too complicated.
So we're not going to distinguish between like my tweets and your tweets?
I don't think so. Do you want to? Because then we have to have some concept of like who's logged in and whatnot, which we could.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be too much, I guess. All right.
And we can always expand later on.
Okay. So we got a body.
We have a body. All right. So now we want to run the migration, which this is where you'll need to set up a date. You can just try doing it and it'll error out. So if you do PHP artisan migrate, it's going to error out on the connection. So, so the connection gets set up basically inside your .env file. That's where all your environment variables are going to live. The config lives elsewhere, but the config generally references these, env variables, and you'll have a different env file for different production environments, like .env.production or something.
Do I have to do MySQL here, or is it easy to?
Yeah, you can do whatever.
I can just change this to Postgres?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So
you'll have to update.
I know this is the example, but I guess I'll just copy and paste some of this out. Is it Postgres or PC?
I think so. Okay. Yeah, I think it's Postgres. Let me check.
Crap. What's the default Postgres port? 5.
So it's actually PGSQL.
PGSQL. Okay.
And you can delete the port key because it'll just use the default of 5432. You can delete the host key if you want to use the 127.0.0.1. And then you just put in the database username and password.
Okay. Oh, is it already in there? Oh, it's already in here.
Oh, are you in .env.example?
I was an example, yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Now I'm in the right spot. So
I see.
I'll save that. Okay, BG SQL, database LiveWire. I want to say I have. Yes, I do. Okay.
Are you in .env and not .env.example? Just to double check.
I'm in .env.
Okay. Well, interesting. I guess I can't see it because it's a dot file that's get ignored or something.
So weird. I see both of them, but like my .env definitely's got everything populated in there. Yeah,
if that's the thing that's going to get used. .env.example is just like, not the one that gets used.
Let's try migrating again.
So could not find driver. Could not find driver. Why not? So you have the driver is set to PGSQL, right?
Yeah.
So it's possible that you have to like install some thing here. Prerequisites, PostgreSQL.
I have Postgres installed.
Yeah.
Oh, is this gonna make me? Oh, Postgres modules for PHP. Maybe I got to do that.
Maybe, yeah. That's what I'm. Yeah, I guess there's a PHP extension. So, where's that PHP extension? It could be really simple, or it could be really annoying. Bummer. Installation. Where? PHP use Postgres Laravel. I'm looking for so Peckle is a PHP package manager for extensions. Homebrew. So, well, you don't have Homebrew. So hopefully there's some really simple command. If anybody wants to hop in on the chat and make this easy, that'd be great. So PHP INI, MySQL is a default, therefore you need to activate. Okay, search for those lines. Okay, you might not even need to install it. It might just be available. Install PHP PHSQL. PGSQL. So
I've got that installed now. Yeah, I didn't have that earlier.
Oh, yeah. How do you feel about just using SQLite?
I could do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have that.
Wondering if you would just need to end up installing the SQLite thing anyway. Laravel. I'm going to go to the docs site and look for Postgres. And if Laravel offers some guidance on their docs, that's going to be easier than whenever I stumble through. Database, Postgres. Okay, Laravel configuration. Yeah, so it.
Let's try that. Really? Do I have to create it? Yes, looks like I have to create it. Do I need to do artisan create or something?
Sorry, I'm away from where you are. For what? For SQLite?
Yeah.
Okay, so for the SQLite, let's try SQLite. That's going to be an easier path. For Postgres, you probably need to install PHP extension, and then if we do that and set the PHP INI, then you have to like restart your PHP runtime, and it's just, I don't even know if we'll make it out of that hell easily. That's an annoying thing about PHP. So go to, just create a new file in the database folder called database.sqlite. Yep.
Okay.
Sorry. Database/database.sqlite. My bad.
Oh. Okay, and I assume I need to change the
so in your env file now, if you just set the connection to SQLite, you're done. It'll just assume the rest. So.
Okay.
Yeah, and this might not even work if we need SQLite enabled for PHP.
Could not find driver.
Yeah, seriously? Okay. So, my Lanta. All right, well, yeah, you probably have to enable this stuff in etc php php.ini, which somebody put in the chat there. But let's see. So, SQLite.
So, whoops, I need to reopen that. Sudo edit. Is it the PDO stuff?
Yeah.
Or no, not the PDO? I don't know what PDO
I'm not seeing
is.
what you're seeing.
That's right, you're not. Sorry. Okay, I think I see it. I'll go ahead and get PG-SQL and SQLite 3 extensions up. All right. Sudo system control restart PHP. It's not a service. Okay. Maybe that'll just work. Let's try. I got still not that. Yeah, still could not find driver. All right, Arch PHP restart. Yes, I need the PDO one too. Okay. What's the difference between them?
You're talking to the wrong guy. I don't know anything about PHP or Laravel. Okay. Never heard of them. Yeah, I don't even frickin' know. I never have to deal with any of this stuff because on a Mac, it's just like all there. And I use Valet, so it's all there. So anytime I have to deal with extensions, I just Google until, and I see words like PDO and SQLite and Postgres and SQL Server and all that stuff, and I just like fumble through getting the extension working and then just move on with my life. So,
okay, all right. Let's see if this works. Please work. Dang it.
Same problem.
Unable to load dynamic library SQLite 3.
Okay, allow me to paste this into Google. Laravel takeout for Linux. So that wouldn't actually fix anything, Draman, because the problem is connecting to the database. Yeah, I might need to install PDO as a layer to handle. Yeah, straight up, Caleb said, Yeah, PDO is a database interaction extension. Yep. Okay. PHP startup unable to load dynamics.
Oh, I see. PHP SQLite. I didn't install that one on my system, so let's try that. There it goes. We're done. Woohoo! Got it.
You did it?
Yeah,
nice.
Did it.
Nice.
So I did that PHP Postgres step. I forgot it for SQLite when we changed over to that. All right.
Great. Okay, and we are good to go now. Great. So the migration ran. You have the table.
Yep.
And And we're good to go. Now we can actually create things inside the table and view them inside the browser. So let's see. Why don't we start by seeding the database? Let's seed the database with a few tweets. We'll make 3 tweets. And you could do that directly in a SQLite editor if you want, like Table Plus, or we could do it from the command line.
Let's do it from the command line because I don't think I have a thing.
So there's wondering if I should just scaffold these up and then we can get to this later. Yeah, so I'm gonna cannot edit. I have to request write access. Okay, so all right, PHP Artisan Tinker is a REPL, so this will just allow you to like live interact with the app in PHP. So I'm kind of skipping ahead to just create these things so that and I'll give the control back to you for consuming these things, but I'm sort of not assuming this as a step that you really need to know much about, I guess.
All right.
So tweet, that class, which it's namespace, so it's like app models tweet, ::create. So the create method is how you would create a new instance of this tweet, store it in the database. And then this is a map or an associative array in PHP of key values, which are the like field name, like body, and then the value. So like first tweet. Okay. So we're getting a fillable exception because basically Laravel protects you against mass assignment vulnerabilities. So you don't just pass request all into something like create, and then somebody adds their own malicious inputs. So I'm going to add protected guarded equals empty array to just leave everything unguarded. Or you can, so this is like a blacklist. You could do a whitelist that would be, what am I saying? Fillable. So you could do this and that'll work. So why don't we do that? Whatever.
Yeah, let's do that.
And then, and then we have to restart the REPL because we changed a file. And then we do that. Okay, so now that's in the database, and this is the instance of that model. So I'll create the second one, and then we can actually like load them out. Second,
gotcha,
and third, and then exit. Okay, so now you have there's 3 models in the database, so we can actually like pull them out of the database and show them on the page. Okay. So I think it's time for LiveWire. We haven't done any LiveWire yet. So you need LiveWire set up. So let's do that. Let's LiveWireify your setup. So to install LiveWire, basically it starts with, you can go to the docs or just listen to me say it out because it's really not much. Maybe just open up the docs because it's be just as easy for you.
Okay. I got it.
Okay, and then installation. I'm a few seconds behind watching the stream.
So I see composer require LiveWire / LiveWire.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Cool. Require. Boop.
Okay, and then those. Yep. So then there's 2. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I see. All right. So is composer JSON? That is like me. That's my PHP dependencies. Knows
yes.
Get okay.
Composer.json is the equivalent of package.json.
Okay.
So this is like the dependency list that you showed me in the entry point.
Gotcha.
But it's not necessarily a PHP file in a PHP path. It's like okay. Yeah. So now LiveWire is installed, and the final step is to add its JavaScript and CSS to your layout file. So basically that welcome view, you can just paste in those blade template. Those are blade directives. So that @ symbol, whatever follows it, like that's going to be replaced at PHP's runtime. So when the browser gets it, it'll be, the browser won't see at LiveWire scripts. It'll just get a script tag that loads its JavaScript.
Okay.
One of the things that like I'm a bit passionate about is hating Webpack and build times. So one of the goals of LiveWire is just like no build.
Got it.
So you can use a build if you want, but like part of the path is like not needing to run any npm or anything. So LiveWire scripts gives you everything you need. All right. So so we have LiveWire installed. Now but it's not going to be viewed like right now. You could load that page in the browser and it would have all the LiveWire's like front end assets, but it wouldn't be a LiveWire page, you know? So let's go into the route file. And remember I told you how you can pass a LiveWire component directly into a route. We're going to do that. So go into the, web.php inside of route. So route/web.php. Yep. Okay. And then in here, so instead of returning this closure, you're going to return a tuple, which I can write out the tuple syntax. So, which is just an array, like everything in PHP is just an array, but this is kind of like a pseudo tuple thing. We're going to create, well, I guess first we need to create a LiveWire component. So in the command line, you can do this, PHP artisan, and then it's LiveWire : make. And then you type in the name of the component that you want. And it can be just lowercase and it'll automatically do the casing for you, or uppercase, it's up to you. Although, yeah, if you're going to do, I think I might support underscores. I don't know. We could find out. So tweet live. All right. I'd like to show some love by starting the repo. Just say no.
Not right now. Thank you.
All right. Great. So now if you scroll up in your console, you should see that there's been 2 files created inside app http livewire. There's tweetlive.php and tweetlive.blade.php.
Yep.
Okay, so those are the two things here. And so here's a convention. What do we do? Let's go back to web.php and let's pass in this component. So this is the tweet live component. So type in like tweet live for the first one, : class. Yeah. And then the second parameter, actually, no, what am I doing? No tuple. It's just the class name, no array, just that. That's all you need. And you need to import this, and it's going to be easier for me to do it if my auto import works, and it doesn't because, oh, it does work. Okay. So that just imports the namespace.
All right.
Okay. So now you have that, and we can try to load it in a browser. It's going to error out, but we can follow the errors to get to where we need to be.
Just so I understand too, I don't have to do the use. I could just do like app/http.
Totally.
LiveWire. Okay, cool.
Yep.
Is it supposed to be wrapped in an array?
Nope.
Okay. I don't know how that got there.
Yeah.
All right.
And I think the import got wiped. So, okay. We're good. So yeah, pop it open in a browser. We're going to get an error.
Yeah. View layouts.app not found.
Yes. Okay. So pop open the LiveWire component, the tweet live component. Basically from here on out, we're kind of done with the routes file because we're just telling that route to defer to the LiveWire component. So a LiveWire component only needs one method, a render method, and it's going to spit out the blade view. But the thing is, it's going to assume a layout file, like it's just a convention that you're going to create. So let's see, what's the best way to do this? So if I were you can handle this a bunch of different ways, but I would, inside of resources, views, I would create a new folder. This is the convention. Create a new folder called layouts. And then a new file inside of layouts called app.blade.php.
Crap, where is it? Resources. Okay, it's under LiveWire. Sorry. Sorry, I lost where I was. All right, resources, views, LiveWire. Create a new folder under views.
Yeah, so resources, views, and then create a layouts folder under views.
Got it.
Like adjacent to LiveWire. Yep. And then a new file inside there called app.blade.php.
Cool.
And this is where you're going to paste in all that welcome stuff, and you can kill the welcome file.
Okay.
So this should feel pretty familiar from what you were showing me. And then, okay. And then down where we want the body to live, we're basically going to extract the body. So from, so not that whole thing, because let's do here. I'm going to take control for 1 second, just so that we're extracting the same thing. I think I extracted this div here. I don't know if you can see my highlight.
Yeah.
So like grab that div and paste it into the LiveWire view that was created.
Okay, come on. The Vim and the VS Code thing. I'm trying to. There we go.
Okay.
And we're going into. I'm gonna save that. We're going into Tweet Live now.
Yep.
PHP. Paste.
Yep, totally.
Put that over there. Don't need this anymore.
Yep. That's perfect. And then we need to add something where we cut out that HTML to like the equivalent of whatever, I forget what it was, included.
The inner content bit. Yeah.
Yeah, yep. Same sort of deal. So here inside of this div, do 2 open curly braces and then $slot. So
Slot?
have you used like a Vue.js at all?
Yeah.
So you know like the concept of components and slots in Vue?
I think, generally I'm not much of a Vue guy, but yeah.
Okay. Laravel follows generally the same convention. So you can create like currently the primary Vue level abstraction, instead of just like simple includes where you're just including like a header and a footer, whatever, you can create components. So you might have something like a layout component, and that's called layout.blade.php. And whatever you pass into here you can echo out as a slot. So this would be considered a slot, and you can name slots and things. So, which it takes follows pretty closely after Vue's syntax. Although that's a little bit different than in Vue, but whatever. So that's what you need. And that's the thing that's going to, so the reason that this is important is because LiveWire is now going to only make the innards of tweetlive.blade.php live. Those are going to be live. The layout is static.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how LiveWire knows the boundary between what's live and reactive and what's not.
Yeah. That's some of the I don't know if it's complex, but that's some of the weirdness about the layouts that we saw on the Phoenix side. Remember, there was 3 layouts there, and that's because you need a root bit that renders on both sides of non-live things and live things. Then you need a live layout, and then you need a non-live layout for all those other controller, the usual RESTful kind of things.
Yep.
But it always trips me up a little bit. But that's okay. Once you got it set, you usually don't have to revisit those things anyway.
Yep. Generally. Okay. So then you're pretty much good. If you load it in the browser, you should see it showing.
Yeah, I do. It seems to be back in working order.
Okay. So let's pass in. So this part's going to feel very MVC-ish. You're going to pass in to the render method where you return that view. You're going to pass in an argument. Go back into the LiveWire class, the tweet live class, whatever. And then the second argument to this view function is going to be an array. And this is where you can pass sort of like, view data. You can pass data into the view, like a very classic MVC feeling type thing. So I'll do this really quick. So we're going to pass in tweets is going to be the key. And then, so now we're fetching these models out of the database. I could like speak out to you what to type or type it myself. Which one feels better to you?
Go for it, man. You can type it out.
So here's the tweets, and so tweet is the model that was created in app models. So I'll auto import this namespace, app models tweet. And for now, we're just going to do tweet : all, calling the all method on that. It's going to fetch all the rows. And each of them is going to be a model instance. So this will be like a collection of all the tweets.
Gotcha.
Simple enough. So then now from the view, so let's go to the tweet live.play.php view. You can take me there.
Yep. Tweet live. There we go.
And then here, we're gonna wrap up that tweet template, that a tag, in a for loop. So I'll show you the for syntax.
So you're talking about the timeline here. Oh, the a tag. Got it.
Yep.
Right here. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. So the for syntax is actually, so that's the echo syntax. The control statements are with at. So it's like for each tweets as tweet. And then this whole thing here, we'll indent one, and then it's, oops, that's being kind of weird. And for each. Okay. And then from inside of this for each, inside this control statement, you can access tweet as a variable, just like inside of any other loop. So if you wanted to, so you can make that dynamic by echoing out. Yep.
So okay. So I do need the echo bit here. So I'll do tweet dot body, I assume.
So instead of dot, it's a hyphen greater than. So it's an arrow. Yep. That's PHP's dot.
Gotcha.
So perfect. Yeah. Yep. Tweet body. And
you're tweeting all these. So we'll just,
I'm going to be tweeting all these today. Yeah. So let's see if that dynamicism worked.
First, second, third.
Okay, cool. So none of that's reactive yet. Like we haven't done anything live. So I'm wondering what, should we just go for gold here and actually set up that input to, type in the name of a tweet and hit tweet? I feel like we should. What do you think?
Okay, let's do it.
And then that'll be like it for today from the LiveWire end. It's just kind of like closing up this story here.
Oops. Yeah. Okay, so what's happening? That's what I'm looking for. There it is. So we have our text area that we want to make live somehow. So we need to. We need a. All right, let me talk this out. So we need a method on the LiveWire class to handle the moment to create, and we need to know what that text area value is. Does that text area value only get sent when we hit the button tweet, or does this continually get sent to the back? What do we want there?
You can configure with the API how often you want it to update to the back end. So we'll start with the default, which is just all the time, like as you type kind of thing. And then you can sort of throttle it back with some different APIs to decide, how often you want it to update.
Cool.
Okay, so this part is this is like Vue.js's like two-way binding type thing. So you use wire::model, the directive, like an HTML attribute. I just got a glimpse of like what your brain thought it should, like that directive should be called, which is it's always fun to see like an alternate universe where I called it live. Is that more intuitive? Maybe. David thinks so. Okay, wire::model, and then you're specifying a bespoke name of whatever this is going to be called.
Call it. I don't want to call it tweet. I'll just say. You know what? Everybody wants a new body, so we'll do new body.
Nice. All right.
I'm assuming this is the casing that PHP usually uses. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. It depends, actually, but yes, for the most part, you are on point.
Okay.
Okay, so that's new body, and then the next step is to declare this as like a piece of data for the component, so a public property called new body.
Okay. Public string? I'm totally guessing.
You don't even no type even.
No type? Okay.
No type.
Public new body.
Yep, $ in front of n.
In front?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, and then semicolon. And you can add a default to this if you want, of empty string or of some default string, or just leave it as empty string for now. It could also be null, but like for purity's sake, I like the default to be like the same type, as what it will be. So yeah. Okay. So actually, for fun, why don't you type something in that string?
Who doesn't want? Oh no.
Right.
I assume I'm escaping that correctly.
Yeah, you are. Yep.
Okay.
I'm impressed, man. I'm impressed. How much of the syntax you can
Look
guess
at
or pick up
that.
or just intuit. Okay, so it loads. I can't see, but I'm guessing it's there.
Yeah, it's there.
Okay. Cool. And if you open up your like DevTools and look at the Ajax requests, as you type, you should see it live update. Or I'm trying to think how a text area would be handled, but should live
see
update.
it? Right? Yeah, I do. I do see all the Ajaxes.
Cool. So like if you wanted below the text area element in the markup, you could echo out $new body.
Like that.
Yeah.
All right. And reloading, and I see it. Yeah, and there's a tiny bit of delay there.
Yep. Yeah, there's a debounce attached. So
cool. All right. Seems
okay.
Easy enough.
Yep. And so I'll show you the other. You can keep that new body there for a second. And if you do wiremodel.lazy, try wiremodel.lazy. And now this is going to only update when you focus away from the input.
Okay, I'll try it out. Yeah, it's still in the input. Everything is the same. Then I'll touch out. Yep, and it updated.
Okay. And then there's one more called .defer. And this will literally just like queue that value in the background until you perform some action like a button click or something that we haven't done yet. So it'll just not send any requests until you send some meaningful action, basically until you call a method.
Okay. Yeah. Tweet, that button doesn't seem to be doing anything quite yet.
Yeah, we didn't wire that up. So now's a good time, I suppose. Let's wire up the tweet button.
All right. So we got a button somewhere. Here it is.
Okay. So yeah, go ahead. See what you would intuit.
Wire click.
Hey,
totally guessing.
Yep, totally. That's it.
Okay. I'm gonna guess a function or method to call.
Yeah.
This. Okay. New tweet.
Yep. Perfect.
All right. So back here, I'm guessing this is a public function. It has to be public.
It has to be public.
Yep. We'll say new tweet. I'm assuming the argument is the new body as it comes in.
No.
No.
It's already a property of the component.
That's right. Okay. I was thinking functionally still.
Right.
Okay. So I don't know the ORM, but I'm assuming that there's a create or something like that on tweet.
So do the create just like I was doing in the Tinker. Create method, and then you pass in an array. The key would be, and then the value is this arrow new body.
Is it fat arrow or small arrow?
Small arrow. This arrow. Yep. Sorry, fat arrow for the array. You had that right. But new body is a property of the object we're in. So $ this arrow, and then no $ for new body.
I see. Okay.
Yep. Semicolon.
Semicolons. Okay.
All right. Now let's see if it worked. I can't see it, but
oh no, you can't see this stuff. Okay. Who doesn't want a new body? Tweet. Boom. It popped up right there at the bottom.
Okay. So yeah, you could do tweet instead of all, maybe type latest and see if that just works. Okay, latest arrow get. After the method call, sorry. So latest method and then get method.
Is that it?
Method, so parentheses.
Oh. Wait, what?
Yep, you had it. Get.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Got it.
Yeah, try that.
Okay, it's rendering stuff now.
Okay, and the order's proper now?
Yes, it is.
Perfect.
So that's just putting in a ascending order or descending
order? Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so I mean that's that. There's plenty more we could do. We could add validation, character counter, whatever else. So while we're in the headspace, if you want to add anything else, we can do it.
Okay, I hear some complainers out there about render needs to be on top.
It's really funny. I always put render last, and I think I'm the only one.
Okay.
So while we're in here, do you want to do anything else?
We got this error thing here. What were you thinking for that error?
Yeah, let's add some validation to this. So add a protected. So we're going to add a validation rule at the class level, like at the component level, and then we'll call a validate method from our new tweet method to run that validation. And if it errors out, it'll throw an exception, and then we'll handle it in a minute. Make sense?
I think so.
Okay,
so we're going to validate the length of it?
Sure. Yeah, we could validate the length and that it's just required. Yeah. So do, dude, this guy, protected $rules. And then this is going to be an array of key value pairs.
And we want body, small? No, fat. What's the value here?
Yeah, so this is going to be a string and let's say required. So string is going to be required, and then pipe, no space, and then min : whatever the minimum character you want is.
Say 10 characters.
Cool.
Okay.
All right. Semicolon.
Always going to forget.
Yep. So we have those validation rules, and now to call them inside of your new tweet method before you call tweet create, call this arrow validate. $this. Yep. Cool. And then that's gonna actually it has to be called new body in the rules array, because that's what we called the property.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. So that's that. And now, so that's going to work, but it's going to be invisible to us. I mean, you could test it out effectively. Like you could open up the browser, add 10 characters, and then hit tweet. And it should just not work.
Okay. So I got more characters in than 10, and it actually created
less than 10.
But if I do less than, it doesn't create.
Okay, perfect. So now we need to render out the error inside the view.
Okay. So I guess I need to wire this up. So I need a new public property?
Nope. It'll all be kind of automatic, you'll see.
Okay.
This is how like Blade. I just kind of built on how Blade handles errors in a normal Laravel app, and it's kind of behaves the same way. So if you open up the view, the Blade view, and then find where we find that error.
Right there.
Okay. And then, so basically, let me write this one out. So there's a directive called error. You could do like if and end if, like if errors is like a message bag that gets passed to the view whenever there are errors. You could say like has new body and whatever, but there's actually a helper for it. So we're just going to use the helper, error, new body, and error. And then inside here, we're just going to echo out message. So message is going to become available when there's a new body error, and that'll be the content of that validation error. So this is good now. So this should work. You can give it a go.
Okay. I'm going to get rid of the 139 right underneath.
The 139 is for a character counter that we may implement.
That's right. Yeah, we want that. Okay, refresh. I'll type in less than 10 characters. Tweet says the new body must be at least 10 characters.
Nice. And if you add more, should work.
And yep. Man, Caleb, you're tweeting a lot of like just junk, just gibberish. Can't even see it, but I'm making you say some pretty awful things.
All right. So that's the validation story. You want to do anything else?
I think the next step would be the character count, but you wanted to do something with Alpine with that, right?
Yeah, I would just do it. If I would build it with Alpine, which I imagine you would too in Phoenix LiveView, or not. I don't know.
Let's skip that for not skip, but let's hold off on that for now. We'll come back to that. We can jump back over to Phoenix LiveView and what this looks like. So we went through a lot here. We created a model, we migrated, we seeded some in a REPL, and we hooked up a new component called Tweet Live and rendered the new tweets live, which is pretty cool, and added some validation. Lots of stuff. Okay, well, let's get on it then.
Cool. What's your take on the LiveWire approach so far?
I like how simple it is. So in my world, this would all happen within a form, and if I look correctly here, there is no form tag here,
right?
And so this text area is just a dangling input out there with no form over it, and you're wiring up individual inputs. In my world, I don't think I would do that normally. I think I would have everything in a form, but that doesn't really change anything, like functionally speaking.
Yeah, I'll say that I too would wrap it in a form. I would keep the wire model, everything the way it is. I would just create I instead of wire click on the button, I would listen for a submit on the form.
Gotcha.
Okay. So all the code would be the same, but it'd be like wire : submit equals new tweet instead of the button.
I see. So when we get there in LiveView, we'll do it with the form based approach there. I think that'll work easier. At least that's how I have it organized in my head.
Yep.
But the experience is pretty nice. Like I don't know PHP very well, so I was really guessing around the syntax here. But you got your normal for each, that's going to be very similar to what Elixir is going to do. We're still echoing out into templates in Elixir, so that feels very similar to me. The @ symbol really throws me for a loop because I feel like that should be in some like in the double in the double handlebars, right? The mustache syntax. I feel like that stuff should be there, but I get it that the syntax is different. That's just, we don't want to echo it here. We just want to interpret it here. So PHP is just a little bit different there, because I feel like
actually that's a blade. Like, well, the antlers and the @ are both blade syntax. Like PHP's interpolation is a open less than symbol question mark PHP, and then you do stuff. That's what I'm used to. Is stuff like that. So we're gonna do not the angle question mark PHP, but we're going to do something very similar with EEX with Elixir. Right. Yeah.
So I feel like I ought to be seeing those and I don't. So like I had that little bother, but this is good to not see that kind of noise either. So that's good. Really simple to get it up and running. This error bit, the error and error, I assume that's a Laravel thing that we're tying into, that like validation happened on the model and it's storing it on the instance already, and we're just accessing it in a way that's just, this is normal Laravel stuff. Is that right?
Yeah. So like if you were in a controller, you would call request arrow validate and pass in the rules. And then if it failed, it would throw a validation exception. It would get caught at the handler, and then it would pass. It would, I'm tripping up on how validation works in MVC. It would actually redirect back and make those. Yeah. Because normally in a controller, you're dealing with a post request from a form. So it would run the validation and then it would do a redirect back with the formers, whatever. But yes, so LiveWire, when you call this arrow validate and it fails, it throws an exception, but it has an exception handler wrapping itself that's catching that exception, bundling up the errors, and making it available in an object to the view.
Gotcha. So I'm not a fan of normal operations handling through via exceptions and rescuing and stuff like that. Sure. As like a design trait, but that's not LiveWire. Like as far as I can tell, like this all was very pleasant, very straightforward to get in. Like this wire model defer bit, like I know that I like Alpine already. That reminds me of Alpine, but I know that's all focused on like declaring it from. Okay, that's so. Now I say that this is a bit strange to me. Now I'm saying it. I'm telling LiveWire how to work from HTML templates and not from the class. So that feels it doesn't feel bad, but it is interesting that it's like that it's tied to how to work from inside HTML.
Yeah,
I guess at this point at least, like
right. I mean, there's so much that the JavaScript portion does. Like, so if you're like go to you're already in the template, right? Let me find. So there's like any div, like if you wanted to show a loading indicator, it would be like wire : loading, and then it'll just only show when there's a request out. Wire : target if you wanted to target that loading indicator to something like only the new tweet action or only the new body update. But yeah, so you can listen to any event like wildcard event right here and call, any method in LiveWire. And then it uses this HTML to do extra things. You can debounce this input listener for like 150 milliseconds. There's a bunch of like modifiers to things, but I'm trying to think. There's a bunch of other little ones like wire dirty. I'm trying to think. You could add wire poll to anything and it'll instruct LiveWire to poll at intervals. So yeah, I use basically, it's funny that you notice that you take notice of that. Cause I mean, a lot of it's driven out of where would you expect to declare that behavior, that defer behavior?
I'm not actually too concerned about the defer bit. It's the wire model bit.
Yeah. So like the other option, tell me if this communicates it. And tell me if I'm barking up the wrong tree, but like you do something like value and then echo out new body. And then you would do something like wire change or input event to, update new body or something with like event.target.value or something like that.
Yeah, I guess that that makes more sense on how it's working, but that is not as succinct, I guess.
Right.
And when you're coming from like a view perspective, like you mentioned, like the wire model definitely makes sense from that perspective. But coming from a back end perspective, here's what first went through my head was like, you know what? I don't really want the front end telling the back end what to do. Like executing known functions and methods and all that, like no problem with that. But like controlling data flow, not so much. I'm not saying that there's a problem here. I'm just thinking that was the first place that my head went, is that I want to declare from the back end, like what we did for guarded.
Yep.
Like guarded is saying, I only want these things to come through, right? And it's protecting the back end from any malicious intent from the front end.
Sure.
What I'm seeing here is that, like from my template, I'm telling what the back end should do, with this data, and like what were to happen. I know that it's fine, but the first place my head went was what would happen if I just like in my HTML DOM as a viewer, I just changed this to, wire model and, like my whole app secrets folder or something like that.
Yeah, right. No, I mean, I get that feeling, and that's really funny that you picked up on that. So that's good that you felt that way, because it is the truth that because JavaScript's handling this, you could do anything inside here. And I mean, the logic is basically LiveWire JavaScript will just send back to the backend, hey, update the component's property anything with the value from this text area. And then the component itself, I don't know if you're following me. So go to the tweet live class.
Yep. Then
the component itself, it would try to update that anything, and it'd be like, oh, well, there's no public property, so just throw it away, So you would have to have a public property called anything.
So
this is the whitelist. The fillable list is public properties, essentially. Anything that's a public property is like freely made available to the front end and modifiable by the front end.
And so if I wanted to take in something like raw SQL for some weird reason, if I were making a SQL app and I wanted to bring in SQL from a text area, somebody gives me SQL, I bring it into a public property. I would obviously need to sanitize that in a way. I would store that in some private field, I assume, and then do what I want to do with that private field. And that can't be accessed by LiveWire to the front end, at least, right?
Yeah, it'd be pretty interesting. So anything that's not public isn't persisted between requests. So if you had something like private, SQL, that's some secret thing. Like if it's, you could hard code SQL in here and then that would persist, but you can't, if you modify SQL, like this arrow SQL equals hey, it's going to get wiped at the next request. It's not going to persist that because persistence happens at the front end. Like it's a LiveWire stateless. It's all request to request. So rather than me trying to be secure and like encrypting stuff and slowing the process down and potentially making your secret things more vulnerable, the story for this is basically, well, stored in the database, stored in the session, stored in the cache or something. Those things are actually private.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So I like the public properties here. In my world, this is handled with ecto change sets. We'll get there. Ecto change sets are a separate thing. And so this right here, the public properties are like making, in my world, the ecto change set is the instance itself, like is the model itself. In Phoenix, we're going to have a live view and we're going to have an ecto change set. These are two separate things. And the live view is going to coordinate with a change set. A change set is being a set of inputs applied against the schema. We get the results out of it. It's going to be a package of information. For example, errors is going to be on it as well. And then we have to send those things back to LiveView to render. And so this is squishing it for me in my head, where these are both the same things, or at least allows me to make it the same thing, right? This form element is actually tied directly to a public property of this instance, and it's the same thing as my LiveWire component. So in Phoenix LiveView, they're going to keep it separate, a little bit more separated.
Gotcha.
That part was it's good because it removes a layer of like things to have to care about, and I can just put it on. Let me back up. This is a good model for like form objects, like anything form related. Like this, this is great for a form model because it's so simple. It goes right to your form instance here, and you do all your validations, all your checks, whatever you need to do, and you're good to go. Spit it back out to the front end. Where I fear that it might get messy though is what happens if you're not doing something, or you're doing both a form and some other things. Like that separation isn't as clear to me, at least right now. I'm sure that's not a real concern for most people, but that's what's in my head right now.
Yeah, so, it's interesting. I'd be curious to know like what a real life application that presented that problem is. I don't deny that it exists, because there definitely, there is a distinction that's not as clear as separating out what is like two-way front end exposed bindable and what's not. But I'm curious, like, what sort of thing you would need to do that would call for that,
Yeah, it's an architectural question, or like the design question, more than it is like a functional question. Functionally, they're going to do the same thing, but design-wise, like you have a model, and that model has got A, B, and C on it. That model should only ever be concerned with A, B, and C on it. This live component here, this LiveWire component, makes it concerned with more than what's going on. It's the component here is concerned with the whole LiveWire thing that's being rendered, which that makes sense.
Right.
But now I'm also adding into that list of concerns the form that is now values on the component, the public properties there. So it's like it's adding ABC plus all these other things. So it loses that separation, which is okay because like all of that is required to like render the component. That's exactly what this component is about. But it does blends those previous like distinctions like between the model and what's happening with the model, that those changes and what's going on in the form or in the
interesting.
In the
yeah, I guess it's there still is the model, the tweet model that you can store whatever you store in a normal model, and that's the model, where the component is sort of the interaction front end layer. It's interesting because I never intuited a separation between the front end and the back end when it comes to a LiveWire component, because that's what it's concerned with, like in my mind the tweet component is concerned. I was actually having a conversation with a friend of mine the other day, and he was sort of barking up that same tree that you're talking about. Well, he actually wanted to blend it even further, but anyway, yeah, I don't know. I guess it's just it's a distinction that I don't even see, because like I create LiveWire components and they're mapped to HTML views, so like they are the view, it's almost like a view component that can talk to the back end,
yeah.
Rather than like anything that would be more domain level, I would put in the model. But anyway, I think I need to understand LiveView more to understand your perspective on that.
Yeah, so we're going to see that separation, and it's going to be more to work through than what we just went through here on LiveWire. So that's going to be a distinction, I think. And whether you appreciate that is going to be up to you and any other users that get here,
sure,
and can compare. But yeah, okay. So, well, I'm in the live share thing, and last time you were in your console and you just shared your whole screen, but I won't be able to like help you type out any of the kind of stuff.
Right.
If we go that way.
I can live share to you and screen share, or just live share to you. Yeah, I don't know. It's.
Would you be able to like move that folder, that generated stuff, into the LiveView folder here in our
interesting
our session?
Maybe, yeah. Yeah, let me do that. I'm going to share my screen.
Okay.
And work through this stuff here. So,
okay.
If let's say, okay, so this LiveWire folder. I mean, how does this work? I don't even know how live share works. Like, is this locally on my machine? This is not in my machine, right? Like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, this isn't on my local file system.
Yeah, I think it'll, well, yeah, we can try it.
Like, because like this LiveWire folder here, like I don't even know. Let's say,
like obviously I created all those LiveWire things, and they're showing up for you.
So if I paste this in, right? No, I don't think. Hold on, why is that? You know what I'm saying? Like this. I don't know if this file exists on my file system. Any of the files you just created, So I don't think I can do that.
But you can add files, right?
Yes, but they would be on your machine. Like I still need to run the Elixir, the runtime and everything on my machine.
Right, you still run it.
You know what I'm saying? Like for that to run, it would need access to the. You know what I'm saying?
I still think you can just copy and paste the folders in there. Yeah.
So like so if I create like a new file inside of LiveView, call this Caleb.html.
Yep.
Like how would I load this in my browser?
I see it. Like, oh, I see what you're saying now.
Like I don't think it exists on my computer in any way that is going to be easy to deal with.
Okay, well, how about this? I'll stop my sharing session on live share here, and you can start one, and I'll just join yours.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. So, all right, and
okay. So I'm stopping
Okay,
that.
host ended the session, and now learn LiveView and
trying to figure out the right way to do this without exposing too much.
live. Who, me or you?
Me.
Okay. All right. Start collaboration session. Starting collaboration session.
I'll get my telegrams up.
And I will. I don't think you need to. I think I can.
Oh, okay, we just do it through here.
What do? I hit mail. Oh, it's trying to email you. I wonder if there's, what is this?
Oh, I can see it. Accept.
Cool. Nice. So cool. Okay. Okie dokie. All right. Okay. So we have our first step here is a migration to get the model and the table and everything. So how does that work?
Oh, snap. Sorry, I'm distracted. So the host has shared a server, localhost 4000, with you. Would you like to view this in the browser? So
no.
like I can even see.
Stop it.
The stuff?
How is that possible?
Okay. Well, I assume this is yours, so we'll go for it.
That's crazy.
Okay. Sorry, say again?
So how do we create a model, a tweet model?
Yeah. So let's start with Mix. So before you had me do some PHP artisan things. So what we can do in your project, I'll get some access here on your terminal. We can see how far we can get. You can do mix help, and mix help will give you all of the commands that you can run on your. Yeah, there you go. So I won't be able to see it, but that's everything that's available to you via Mix. And depending on your projects, there could be more or less tasks. And so this feels a lot like PHP artisan. So yeah, you found several here that could be helpful. These are the generators in Phoenix, and there are some. Let me make sure you're in view here.
Sorry.
Some of those generators are going to like generate way too much for my taste. So let's see. Is there one for just Ecto? Did we see any Mix Ecto ones in there?
Sorry. Yeah, I copied this one. I mean, this is the one that seemed the most appropriate.
Yeah.
This generates the Ecto schema. So new. So Ecto schema and migration file is that?
Yeah, that seems right.
All right. And then what are we doing here?
So there's going to be some flags here that you can do. And you can do mix help phoenix.gen.schema to see what all of those options are. You can remove tweet. Yep. And here you can see all of the things. Yeah. So this one's Elixir and Phoenix. Phoenix here really has a design philosophy of domain-driven development, DDD.
Mm-hmm.
And what that means is like you're going to have your schema, and then you're going to have in one file, you're going to have your schema in one file, and then you're going to have another file that does stuff with that schema. So like in one place, you're going to like just define almost declaratively, like this is what that schema represents. And then you have another file called the context file that will be a dumping grounds for you to do stuff with those things. Things like listing, creating, stuff like that. So yeah, you're figuring it out there. So that first bit, let's see how this works. So there was a namespace there. It was blog.post. Blog would be the context. Post would be the
Do we need a context?
I don't think so. It's been a while since I've used the schema thing. So let's just try this. So the model will be tweet. Database table is tweets. Body. And we can just do string, I guess. Just body : string. Let's see what happens. All right.
So
yeah. Got the tweet there.
Cool.
Okay, I'll move this aside.
The migration. So change to, yep, got the body, string, timestamps, perfect. And then, and the schema, okay.
Yeah. So there we're just defining the schema. It's using the table of tweets, and we're enumerating every field and what their types are. There's a lot of stuff that could happen here. This is real basic stuff though. So the schema is just a schema. The change set is defining your rule set for how to change, how to manage that change, how to conform values, for example, like downcasing things, trimming things. Like the change set is where that stuff could happen. Validations is another example. So we already have validate required in there, which is great. We'll get to at some point later on. We'll do that validating length thing, and we can see what that looks like.
Okay. All right. So I have that set up. How do I run this migration? Mix ecto migrate.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, great. And then in table plus, I now have tweets. Okay. And now how do I create 3 of those? Should we just wait until we wire up the field?
We can, or we can go ahead and do it. The seeding your stuff can be done in a lot of different ways.
Wonder if, can I just do that?
I mean, you could go straight into. And
I'd have to.
Sorry, folks.
Somehow.
So yeah, Caleb's in his SQL editor, and he's just
people can't see
him up there. So this actually generates with a repo seeds file though. So let me show you where that happens. If we go to mix.exs, there should be a file, the base file mix.exs. Yep, this is where the project is defined. We have the application. If we scroll down, you'll see the deps, and lastly, aliases. Notice here, so we have 4 aliases. This shows up under that mix help stuff that we looked at in a minute. This is specific to your project, and you got it right there. There is a run a seeds thing, and it's empty.
Okay. So and then, okay. So this is the part. So insert, and then this is, how does this work? What's some schema? I guess this is the thing I don't understand about namespacing and such. Learn LiveView .tweet. And this seems to be it, right? Or does it need to be tweet schema or something? Yeah, so this should work, right?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm curious, do you have, when you hover over insert, do you get info on it, what it does?
No.
You don't?
No.
Okay.
No, I
I'm
don't.
curious. Elixir LS ought to be giving us some stuff there, but maybe not. So dialyzer, and among other things, Elixir LS should be able to introspect for you and tell you that insert is a 2 or 1 arity function, takes this and this. Yeah, okay, we got something here. There we go. That's not incredibly helpful right there, but sorry, folks aren't seeing it. So that's what, yeah.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
So in most cases, what this is going to look like is that you have a struct. This tweet is a struct that we're looking at. The struct is just defining all that information about the table, the fields that it accepts, all that kind of stuff. It turns that into a struct, so it's very strict about what it takes and what it doesn't take. And normally, we'll also pass in params into it to go through a change set to create it. We're skipping the change set part here, just to be clear. So we're going to insert structs directly, so it passes by any validation stuff.
Okay.
So inside the struct, it's like a map. So you can do body and then some string.
Like this?
Yeah, and in PHP, it doesn't apparently matter between single quotes and double quotes. In Elixir, it does matter. So we need to do double quotes all here.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is this the syntax, comma?
You dangling commas, don't need them, so you can kill it. And then just copy paste that a couple times.
Okay, cool.
I mean, so in here,
what
your
am I
map
doing?
has.
Duh. Yeah. Right.
There we go. Perfect.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Great. So got those three. And then, okay, well, let me guess here. So down here, this was the alias that did create migrate. And I assume it's fine to migrate again, like it tracks,
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So
yep, it does.
Can I just do mix ecto.setup?
Right on.
Okay, cool. That's cool. I like that alias defined in the runtime.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And you can see the logs there. It actually did insert. Now, heads up, there's no like validation that it's already run the seeds. So every time you run mix ecto.setup, it's going to just run those seeds again.
Right.
So like in some other real application, you might want to like check that. If you're trying to seed like an admin user, you'll have to do some more logic to see.
Yeah.
Do
I expect that from, I expect
Yeah.
migration to not overwrite itself, but I expect seeds to just run again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, cool. So now I actually have stuff in the database.
Mm-hmm.
Great. That was easy. All right, so we have that. The next step is to get this. Well, I guess the thing is already kind of live viewed. So this, let me think here. Live. Whoops. No. Live, page live, and page live HTML leaks. So page live. Somewhere I need to fetch those three, and I need to loop. I need to loop these somehow. So that's the current goal.
Yep. But before we do the template part, let's destroy some of this stuff that we're not using here in the page live. So remember, it generated with some extra stuff that we're not using.
Okay.
So we can kill pretty much all of it after render, I think. Or mount. Yeah, we can kill all of it after mount.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay,
right.
Let's make sure that still works. So should be able to get in there. Yeah, seems to work for me.
Yeah, I need to load this up here. Where's my thing here? Okay, Twitter clone. Okay.
Yep.
So we have mount.
Okay. So there's phases. I'm sure LiveWire is the same way. There's phases of how the thing is rendered. Mounting, remember there's the first get request. So think of like a robot crawling, right? Like Google's crawling your site.
Yeah.
There's the first request that goes to them like a regular old HTTP request. And then the connection upgrades itself up to a live view, with a live socket and all that kind of stuff, WebSocket. And it manages that WebSocket and then does another mounting of, okay, I'm connected now. And it will
Are they called different things, or does it call mount twice?
It's in the docs. There's I think it's actually, I might be wrong on this. I think it calls it twice.
Okay, interesting. Makes sense. Okay, yep. LiveWire has a mount method itself. Same thing. It just runs, it actually only runs the first time. Because there is no upgrading in LiveWire.
I might be wrong. Okay, maybe it's mount that's called once and render that's called twice. Okay, so we don't have a render method right now. There is technically a render method happening, and it's being defaulted right now. And the default is just seeing, hey, do I have that page live HTML EEX or a LEEX file? And if so, let's just render it. And that file has to be right next to where the page live file is, which is where it generated. So it's assuming the render function for us.
Yep.
So you have a couple choices here. We could render it like inline right here inside the page live, or we can continue on with the LEEX file. I'm cool with that. Let's just do that. But that does offer some options there. If you have like a small, tiny little component, like let's say you just wanted to do like a real small like date picker or something like that. You could do the date picker and render it like a bunch of times, right, on a single page. Okay, so when mounting, you see that we have a socket comes in. We have params, we have a session, and we have socket. Socket is going to be our thing that holds the state A difference here, you explained this to me before with LiveWire. LiveWire is stateless, right? Every time it's hit, it's the new state from the front end. It doesn't hold any state after that connection.
It fakes holding the state.
Yeah.
By hydrating. Yep.
This one is definitely stateful, so it has state and it keeps that state as long as that user is connected to the page, and that socket is what stays alive the entire time. Upon mounting, see, I have some stuff here. You can't see this part, unfortunately, but upon mounting, we get params and we get session data in. So we can do some things like if you're logged in, we can load, your user, we can hydrate stuff, yada, yada, yada. And imported already is this function called assign. So we're going to assign stuff to this socket, right? So it's a functional language. So everything that changes needs to be, reassigned and passed down further. There's no mutable stuff going on. So this socket just gets passed around everywhere and contains all that state.
Okay.
And we've assigned.
Where I would put something like new body.
Yeah, exactly. We'll do it one way, and then we'll introduce Ecto, which is going to do the form-based stuff, right? Okay. So we'll play around with this for right now. So we've got two assigns there. Put in new body.
A bespoke list. Is this where I would put the tweets? Would this be called tweets or?
Yeah, let's do that.
Do those go on the socket, the tweets?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
it's a map right now, so we can change that to an array.
Is this an array?
Yep.
Okay.
Got it. Okay.
So how do I get the tweets in here?
Yeah. Good question. So you remember that file that was generated that has just the change set on there? So this is a little bit different. This ORM, we're going to use Ecto here. This ORM is a little bit different from a lot of object-oriented stuff. So we don't have a function right now by itself. We can't just call this doesn't work. We can't do tweet.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Yeah. So what we're doing is instead we're going to do something like all, right? So we're calling our database directly. This is the repo pattern. So this is our app, the repo. It's got these functions on there, and all, it has to know what to pull out. All right. So I'm just going to copy that.
Tweet. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, and put that in there. Whoops. And that will give you the list of tweets in the database. So cut that. Normally, that kind of function goes and lives in a context file somewhere. We'll just inline it right here, though.
Okay. And you wrap it in an array?
No, that will return an array.
It'll just be an array. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So now on the socket, we have this stateful data. We have new body and we have tweets.
Yep. And we're not doing anything with it yet, but let's make sure everything's still working. We can refresh our page and make sure there's no crashes.
Yep.
Looks good to me. Okay.
Okay. And now page live. So I want to know, how do we get this thing looping?
So we're in EEX files, and this one is enhanced by LiveView. So it's live EEX, LEX. And in all EEX stuff, the syntax is that percentage and then equals. If you want to, the equals makes it echo into your content here. So this will actually be in the template, which we want here, even though it's a for statement, but we want the results of the for statement to be in the template. I could just do percent and not equals, and that's just that doesn't make it onto the page. So everything that we do in Elixir will be enclosed in these things. So what we can do is that there is some syntax magic here that says we can do for tweet, an arrow into it. We can do tweets do. And then at the very bottom of this, there's a tag, I guess here. We'll close that for loop. That's it. That's how we did our for.
All right. So for tweet arrow. What of this is do I recognize? What's this arrow? Is this first class Elixir syntax?
That is, yep. That's built into Elixir. It's a for list comprehension. So for every tweet, assign to variable tweet.
Yep.
And inside of this closure, tweet will be available to us. Tweets is also available to us, but that would make a lot of sense.
So then in here, we are going to echo out tweet.newBody. Yes?
So this is our struct. This is what's in the database, which is not new body. We have just body on the tweet.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, let's see what happens.
There we
Boom.
go.
I already saw it on my screen. It already refreshed.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. So that's great. Now this text area, how do we get this working? So from what I understand, there's a way to do this without change sets that is more just like manually updating one bit of data, maybe by listening for a change event or something. And then there's a way with change sets to hook into the form level and do a more traditional like form-based data approach. Yes?
Yeah, I 100% use the Ecto change sets. So
okay, so let's just do that. We'll just do that. That's great. No, that's totally good. So right here, let's make this a form tag, and then this we'll give a name of new body just to be kind of semantic here, and then this button type submit. Okay. Now what?
So all right, so we've opened up a form, which is great, but this is not an Ecto form yet, right? Ecto doesn't really have a part in this. It's not parsing from the HTML to know what's going on. So before we dive into Ecto though, what we could do, I think we can just do regular old events, stuff like that, changes. It's unclear to me because I don't use it this way. Yeah, I think it's got to be part of a form. Okay. I don't think it's going to work, but I'm curious now. So now I'm torn of what to do.
Just do whatever you do, like whatever you would do.
Okay. So let's get a change set then, an Ecto change set.
Okay.
So remember the tweet file that we have has a change set function. What that returns is the Ecto change set.
Okay.
Right. So what we want to do is we want to initialize one of these change sets for our LiveView. Right?
Okay.
So we're going to call this function and we're going to assign this change set, and we're going to use the Ecto helpers to create a form that manages this change set.
All right. And is this done at this level?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can do this on mount. We can separate it into some helper functions. What I would do is let's just do it in mount. So on mount, it's expected that
these? Is this okay?
Yeah, sure if you want.
Okay.
It's just formatting.
Okay, cool.
All right. So outside of that tuple, we'll initialize our change set. So we can create, change set equals something.
Like this?
We need to return the OK tuple, so it needs to be above that.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So we'll do change set. We're just doing a regular old variable here. So change
it
set
knows
equals,
about chain set somehow. There's no like ecto.chain set or something. It's just chain set.
So we're creating a new variable, but we're going to populate it.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then is this like, or we can't do methods on things, right? So we can't just get like tweet.chainset, or can we?
No, you totally can. So that's what we're going to do. Yeah. Learn LiveView .tweet.chainset. Okay. And to save ourselves some typing, what we can do is alias this, right? That way we don't have to fully namespace things. So I'll go ahead and do that. You had a cool little thing here. I don't have it.
Okay.
So we're just going to alias it. So now we can just
Okay.
Just do tweet. And nice. I'm going to go ahead and do this up here too. So I'll do a little shortcut. We're going to do repo as well. Let's make this a little bit smaller. There we go.
Okay.
Cool. So change set is a toArity function. So we need to give it two things. We need to give it the.
Do you call them with like this, like a function, or is it special?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. So, all right. So the first
by toArity, it's two arguments. Arity's arguments there.
Okay.
So we have to give it
tweet and atters.
Right. The original tweet, which in this case there is none. So we just need an initialize an empty tweet.
Gotcha. So how do we do that? Is it like like I would do this? You know?
Yeah. So what schema is doing for us is it's creating a struct, and so we're looking for a struct here, and that struct is the tweet struct, and that syntax is just like a map, except that map has a name, right? And a map in Elixir, starts with the % sign. So this is a map right here, just a plain map.
Okay.
A struct is a named map like that, and it has all these extra rules on it. So there's our empty struct.
Got it. All right. That makes a lot of sense. I like it. All right. So why is it yelling at me? Because it needs a second parameter.
Yep.
Which is attributes, which we are initializing as empty. Yes? Or?
Okay. Yeah. And in this case, it's also a map. So we'll just do an empty map. Yeah. So we got our change set. Now let's give that to the socket so we can do something with that on the form.
Why is it mad?
Elixir LS is probably going to take a minute for that squiggly to go away. We're not using it too. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, so then you said, what about the chain set? Where does it go?
So now we need to pass it into the socket, so we can use it on the form.
So we can call it whatever we want.
Yeah, I normally call mine just change set.
Okay.
And we can get rid of new body, by the way, because we'll just manage the changes through the change set.
Okay.
All right.
So that's our thing. We pass the tweets down. The change set is now ready, and the change set is the thing that manages like the attributes and their validation and their casting and everything. That makes a lot of sense. Okay. Mm-hmm. So now from here, how do we link a form to a change set?
Yeah. All right. So I am looking up. There's a library that we're using here. It's Phoenix's link with Ecto, and it's already included. And it's called Phoenix.html, and it's already like imported in a lot of different places. So what we're gonna do is, I'm getting the thing here. I can never remember the syntax exactly. So here we go. On this line right here with form, we're going to replace that. We're going to have a function that generates this form for us.
Okay.
Actually, there is a better one. Get my guide up. Let's see here. Yeah, you guys can't see that. That's okay. Where is my change set? I'm not on the right page, but it's around here. So, there we go. Okay. There's this whole page on form bindings. There we go. So what we want is we need to assign this form 4 to something called F, I guess. That's pretty conventional. So instead of doing it this style, this style needs a little help. Phoenix LiveView does some strange things here that doesn't make this style of closures friendly, so we're going to delete that style of it. So instead of opening up F here and passing in a function, we're going to assign the form 4 to F. Does that make sense?
Oh, sure. Like something like this?
Yes, exactly. And then we'll just get rid of that other part. Yeah. So what that's going to do is that's going to render out in this little evaluation. It's going to render out that form opening tag. That's all we care about. Yep. But we need to use F later. Yeah.
Right. So this will be. And how do we pass a class into this?
So you already have change set being passed into it, right?
Right.
Yeah. And we're not actually going to
pass like an HTML class.
Oh, yeah. Gotcha. So
we don't actually need it. I mean, it says with full. That's probably unnecessary.
You just pass it in like up here as an option, so we can put that up there.
Say with full. Okay.
Yeah.
And then this is going to be that. And then let's take this and yank it down here. Okay. And then at the end of
close the nope, you're right, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. And then what is this thing? Is it like f.close or something?
It actually, you can just do the regular old HTML form close. It doesn't matter.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Sure. Okay. All right. And then I'm guessing
let's fix something here real quick though. So this ecto change set bit, the form for, it's used in both contexts of LiveView and without LiveView. In the case of without LiveView, like a traditional controller, this action right here, the second argument, this routes user path stuff.
Oh,
that's where to post the form. We don't need that. So we can change that to just, nothing, to the like a hash, and that's it.
So hash is nothing. Wait.
Yeah, in quotes. Yep.
Oh, right. This is literally still an endpoint, right? Because this is just going to render out form action equals hash. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then class. Yeah. Okay. All right. So this makes sense. And then this thing is going to be like this.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And then that's
sure
F.
That's right.
And then, okay. So then this is a symbol that's going to be new body or just body because we're binding directly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So this is referencing that schema. Yeah.
Yep.
So it has to be in the schema, by the way. So you can't put in other stuff. And I mean, technically you could, but it's going to get dropped at the change set. So if somebody tried to mess with your form, all that stuff, extra fields and whatever, they get dropped because of the change set function that casts certain fields and validations and all that stuff. So I fixed the tag. It's just text area. No text area input, but most of them are underscore input. All right.
Okay, and then we have body, and then we also have class. And then this is where we yank this guy.
Yep.
Stick it in.
Yep.
And then I guess so this is just it's like a wildcard thing, right?
Yep. There's some things that are caught. I forget which ones they are, but most of the time it's intuitive of whatever the HTML property is.
Okay. Can you pass in an integer?
Yep, I think so.
Well, I guess it doesn't even expect
We'll find out in a minute.
Okay, so now we have text area, and now the button is on the form. So this change set came from Phoenix LiveView. It knows. So with any luck, oops.
We got a compiler.
Oh, I think I left some of this boilerplate up here.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. And now I say yo, 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 and I hit tweet. No route found.
Not yet. Yep. Not quite there.
Okay.
So we have our button type submit down here.
Mm-hmm.
We need to wire that into...
We need to prevent that submission.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what we can do is instead of the raw HTML here, we can put in the form helper bit. So it's just a function called submit, and then the text that you want it to say. So in this case, just tweet.
Function called submit. Okay, which is a button.
Yep.
And this is a function.
Yep.
And we pass in arguments to it the same way as... Interesting.
Yep. So the first arity is the text that you would want to, or the content inside the button. So in this case, just tweet. Yeah. The second option, which is optional, will just be any additional options you want. In this case, we'll do class.
Right. No submit. So it's going to be class and then this. Okay.
Yep. And now,
now this function that I'm calling here, I could do this.
Yeah. The parens are optional.
Gotcha. So that's what I'm seeing here. It's just the lack of parentheses.
Yeah.
And here as well.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, in EX you don't really use parentheses too much, but like in Elixir, there's a formatter built in, just mix format, and it ignores all the EEX stuff, so it won't touch those. But for every other Elixir file, it's going to format it automatically, and it's going to add, in most cases, parentheses for you.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's not even something that you have to think about.
Yep.
All right.
Okay, so now we need to go back, and we say, hey, and we hit tweet. And we're
still nothing. Yep.
Didn't
so at this point, we have given a pretty regular like ecto change set for like controllers. We still haven't done the LiveView wiring of it yet. So let's do that now. So just like you had wire stuff.
Yep.
We're going to do similar things, but now for Phoenix LiveView. And these happen at the form level. So on the form 4.
So at the form level.
Mm-hmm.
On the form 4. Okay.
Mm-hmm. We're going to add some hooks in here, and the built-in ones with Phoenix LiveView that we care about are Phoenix Change and Phoenix Submit. So it's going to be a list here. Let's pass in a list.
And a list is this?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm telling you a little wrong, so I'll fix this up for you. So there we go. So the second item in this list can be Phoenix _change.
Okay.
And colon, and we're going to feed it something. What we're going to feed in here is what we want to handle on the back end. So
right.
it could
it's
really be anything.
Delegation to listen for a change event at the form level.
Uh-huh.
To trigger this change set with all the data that's attached to the form that the change set is currently attached to.
Correct. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
So we're going to tell Phoenix Change to send that event named as something, and conventionally we just call it validate. So we'll just put in validate.
Does it need this or anything, or?
Yeah, we'll put in a space, so it's a key and then value, and then Normally, I use atoms. I think strings will work, but
fine. Yeah, no symbol
probably doesn't matter.
Okay.
So that's during changes, and then we want to do something else on save. So we'll do Phoenix submit, and then another thing of whatever you want to call, which in our case probably simplest is save it. Yeah, just save. Boom. Okay. So now we have wired up this change set with LiveView handlers, right?
Yep. Okay.
So if we try to do something, it's probably going to crash pretty quickly because we don't have those handlers yet. So we can probably give it a shot if you wanted to see what that looked like.
Yeah, it's still actually submitting it.
It's still trying to submit. Do we save?
Yeah, interesting. It's like not so this form thing here, Phoenix Change, if we go to event listeners, I don't see any event listener for this, or maybe where's the main? Maybe the event listeners are here. No, interesting. Or maybe it's using event delegation and listening at the window level, so I'm not going to see those here. Okay, so forget that. How does it know? Anyway, okay. So what am I missing?
I think when we killed the root layout stuff, I may have killed some extra stuff that we may have needed. So let me.
Okay. Right. Like how does?
Like you have the LiveWire scripts thing that you add there.
Yeah. Where's the Phoenix LiveView scripts?
So let me see what's going on here. So we got this being connected here. That looks right. So I'm going to add something real quick. Oops, don't want that. So do tester. Let's see what is in our root here that we may have forgotten. Oh, yeah, we don't have our own app.js stuff. We need our own app.js stuff to be in there.
Okay.
That's what's going on. Okay, so I'll copy and paste that. Normally that wouldn't happen, but we totally did it on our own. Okay, so there's two things I just added. One is the style sheet, and then the other one is the JavaScript bit. All right.
Yep.
So just looking at that real quick, we'll look at assets.js, app.js, and it's doing a couple of things here. Let me close this. It's importing the CSS, so that way Webpack, it generates with Webpack. I'm going to skip all that kind of stuff, but the idea is that it's importing CSS so that Webpack doesn't strip it. It includes it.
Okay.
It's importing Phoenix HTML, which helps with the ecto change set stuff and all. It's small JavaScript sprinkles there, things to make it just work the way that folks usually expect things to work. But in all of this other stuff is like LiveView, right? So that's what we were missing. We were missing LiveView.
Right, all the JavaScript portion of LiveView. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So I put that back in root. Let's see how that works.
Cannot read property attribute of null. Get attribute of null. Why is it?
You might want to make sure you have
CSRF token. I need that. So I need to have a meta CSRF token inside of my layout.
CSRF.
So inside of
yeah, I forgot about that. We killed a lot of stuff, so we probably shouldn't do that next time, huh? All right, I'll put that back in here. That was also generated. We just killed it. So that's generating a meta tag of form security stuff to make sure that things are coming from the right places.
Right.
All right, and I can tell it's working because you got that little live bar up there. You can barely see it, and you can see it gets stuck and then dies. Yeah. So what's happening? You don't see it happening here, but the process is actually crashing in the back, and it just reboots. And then it's reconnected. So that's what's going on. So app doesn't die. It's just the process
and
it's
save
dying.
don't exist.
Gotcha. So you're getting there. The server probably has the errors that you're looking for.
Yep, right. And I'm good with not digging and finding it. I'm sure it's in here.
It'd be in red, I think. Okay. So let's go make that.
So to validate and submit live on the LiveView thing here or on the chain set? They probably live right here.
You're right. It's on here.
So something like this. And then, so I guess it's like same sort of deal. Like
so
this.
You're pretty close. Let's finish your thought.
Yeah. So param session, maybe it doesn't get these things because it's not mount and it just gets socket so that it can keep a reference to socket.
Yeah.
Stateful stuff on the socket.
The stuff because it's functional, that you're going to find that like functions typically have a couple more arguments because you usually got to pass stuff into it, and it's not that mutable state. Just know that it's this. So what the arity is here, I'll get the right one here. I constantly have documentation open because you can't always remember this stuff. So this is where LiveView starts to intersect with OTP. This is the Erlang goodness, the process message passing kind of stuff.
Yep.
And so a message is being passed, and the way that conventionally messages are passed and received in OTP and in Elixir is with something like handle cast, handle info, and in LiveView's case, it's handle event to match the language a little bit better.
Yeah.
So we call that validate.
Yep. Okay.
And we have the string here because we're pattern matching on that particular event.
Yep.
So we can have multiple handle events here. And at this point, I'll finish out the rest of the do. Okay. This argument right here, the middle one, that's the parameters of the form.
Okay.
And then we get the socket in last. So conventionally, the way that this works, and it's in all the guides for LiveView and Ecto usually. The way that they usually structure the params coming in is that it's a key. There we go. Key of the thing that we're doing, we're messing with, and then the params for it.
Gotcha.
And we know that based on the name of the module, which in this case was just tweet, right? Is that
so? A map key value is separated by a fat arrow in Elixir.
Yes. So there's two syntaxes. I could do tweet params.
Yeah.
The problem with this is that this is a atom, and atoms are not strings. So the alternative way for string keys is that hash rocket. Syntax, but these are both maps.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Oops. Get rid of that.
Okay.
There we go.
So, all right. So validate tweet params. So now params is the thing that it would be like params dot body or something would have the parameter of body, or we've already attached
close.
You already attached it to the change set.
Mm-hmm.
So is it like this or something?
Well, the whole change set didn't come back in via the params.
Right,
I mean,
okay.
the parameters did. The change set is still assigned to the socket. So we still have the change set there.
Okay. So like socket dot change set?
Yeah. Socket dot assigns change set. There's a lot of other details on the socket that we generally won't care about, but anything that we assigned,
sure, it's like a property, but it's assigned functionally and stored in that. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So there's our change set.
You can just write it out. You can just write out exactly what it is. It's going to be easier. I'll wrap my mind around it when I see it.
Okay. So remember in Tweet we have the change set function. It can actually take. Let's actually jump over there real quick. So we have the Tweet here. This can actually take two things. If you're seeing that, well, I don't think you're there yet. The def change set under tweet.ex.
Yep.
There we go. So this right here, tweet, can actually take two things. It can take. I can see it on my side. Maybe you can't too. There's a spec right above it.
Yeah, I see that.
It's not formatted very great, but you can see that one of the things it can take is a struct or a change set. Change sets are also structs technically, but it's just what kind of struct. So we can pass in like just the tweet or just the change set about the tweet. We either are okay.
Mm-hmm.
So going back to the page live. Oops. You know, we got the page live ex there. I don't know if you're there with me yet. I think you're on the template.
I'm on the template. Yeah. Okay.
There we go. So on the change set, we still have the same change set. We're going to pipe that into tweet.change set. And remember, right up here, this is the same function.
Yep.
All right. Before we put in just a plain old empty tweet with no parameters. Now we're going to pass in the parameters. The pipe here, all that's doing, that's exactly the same thing as this. If we just cut and paste this, that's all the pipe is doing. The pipe is just visually organizing it in a different way. So we'll just keep it like this. Okay, so now we have a new change set, and that change set has errors or no errors.
Sure.
In either case, it's keeping the state of change now on that change set. And what we want to do now is assign that back to the socket. And that's it. We're done. We didn't even have to care about body, It's just the entire thing. Whatever this change set function here accepts, which in this case is only body at this point, it will do its validations, its casting, whitelisting, all that stuff.
Yep, I saw that pipe. So, okay, so now that is being handled, why is it throwing an error? No. Did we miss something?
Oh, it's just being picky. There we go.
Okay. So now that this is being handled, how do we show the validation here?
Yeah, good question. So that'll keep it from crashing, which is good, but we don't have any of the errors being passed around yet, right? We're not rendering it anywhere, so let's see what that looks like. What we can do, the way that we typically handle errors in Elixir and Phoenix is the errors in some frameworks are like rendered in some flash message somewhere, outside of the form, for example. In this case, we like to render it close to where the input is. Okay. So right here, yeah, you're right on it. We can just do error tag, and then pass in the form and what field of errors that we care about. Okay. In this case, just body.
Gotcha.
And that's it.
Okay, cool. So now, as I type in, we haven't added. We We just did validate required. So how do we can we add validate min or something?
Yeah, it's validate length. I think it's Oh,
and then is it an array of maps that's key value? Body.
When you hold over validate length, sometimes it gives you more details on how to use it. Do you see anything when you
when I hold over validate? No, not really.
You don't. Okay, so I see it on my side. So the first thing we get is an atom, is the field that we want to validate length of. So in this case, it would just be body.
Is it in a list or just straight up?
Just a straight up body.
Okay. Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
First and second param type deal.
And then the second one, is a list of options that we want to do. And in this case, it's
like min body.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the list, and then is this a map or is this a map like min 6?
You're pretty close. So keyword lists are not maps, and this one wants a keyword list. I wouldn't try to think too hard the differences between maps and keyword lists, but there is a difference in Elixir and Erlang. In this case, we just want a keyword list. It looks a lot like just a regular list, but it's the colon is after the min. Replace the comma with a colon. There you go, and remove the first one. There you go. You don't have to string it.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. That's a keyword list right there.
Okay. So how come it's not validating as I type? Because I have to focus away. No. Because I hit tweet? No.
No.
Why not?
Let's make sure that we're doing the right things here. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I messed up something. Okay. Validate length, body, minimum 6. Sounds right. Validate length will do both lists and strings, so I think that should work out here. We have the error tag being rendered, and it's actually being output. It looks like that should be okay. Got the text area body. Oh, okay. This trips me up sometimes. Something that we have to do here. It's not very intuitive, unfortunately. Let me go back to documentation. It does say this in the documentation, though. So one thing we're missing here is the action that we're putting, the action that we're doing with this change set. Are we updating? Are we deleting? Are we inserting? What are we doing here? So back on your, and depending on that action, it won't render errors. That's the gotcha. So back here, let's change this into a pipe syntax, just because that's what looks good. So we're going to pipe that into change set, pipe just the params in there, pipe that into this. This change set is just is a struct, but like I said, it's like a named map. So we're going to put in a new key on that map. It already exists actually, but it's called action, and we're going to put the value of insert into that that change set.
Okay.
This is not as intuitive, so I'm going to go ahead and apologize for this one. But it gets really helpful later if you're doing different kinds of actions like updating or deleting if there's errors with that.
Yep.
Versus no action has been taken and I've done an initial render and I already have errors, for example. That's what this is helping us prevent, is errors at the beginning before the form is even tainted,
Yep. Okay.
All right. So I saw it there. We got our errors, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Something's a little funky with that though, huh? You're getting it to show twice?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. I know what's going on. We don't actually want the original change set. Let me go back here too. So what's happening is that first change set was validated and it's blank in there, so it starts with an error. We keep that change set around, and all the errors all the things that are happening on that same change set. Those errors are not cleared out, so they stay on forever. We don't want that. So we'll change this back to just a blank tweet. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
So what's the purpose of providing the change set in the first place?
That could be helpful.
Like maybe we don't need it, but maybe later.
In this case, we don't need it. So we don't need to like keep the change set around because it's so simple. But if your form is pretty complicated, or like a multi-step form, for example, like you really do need to like kind of collect errors as you go. Something along those lines. It's a flexibility, but like I said, like earlier, I really love LiveView and stuff like and Ecto change set, but it's more like IKEA, right? It gives you all the tools. There's a little bit more assembly required sometimes, like this map put action insert, knowing when to use the original change set versus a new blank one, for example. In this case, we want a new blank one. But it's all about your app and what you want to do with that. So you just kind of have to know the differences between them.
Okay, so that's validate. I'm happy with that. It's time for submit. We need a save function thing. So let's do this. Instead of handle event, or instead of handle event validate, we're handling event submit. We are still taking in the same stuff. This change set we can keep. We could make a new change set because it's fresh data. We don't need it to persist. And then
it's the entire form too. So like if there's different fields, it's the entire form. So you're not stitching together different fields, right?
Right. Yes, totally. Yep.
Yeah.
And then, okay, so where do we do the persistence?
Gotcha. Okay. So you have your change set, which is great. It should be valid at this point. There's two paths here, right? Earlier with LiveWire, you had there's an error handler that's already happening. There was an exception thrown. We try not to do exception-based logic flows. So in this case, what we can do is we're going to case on the operation of trying to insert it into the database.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right. We already aliased repo. And so we can just call repo in here, and there's an insert. There's two versions of this: insert bang and just regular insert. Insert bang will do the exception bit, but we don't want that. We're just going to do regular insert, and we're just going to insert the change set. The change set contains the original record, if there was already one, like if it already had an ID, and it contains the params that we gave it earlier. So it's got all the info. And so it'll attempt to insert that.
It already has the validation, so it'll return false if the validation was previously considered false.
Yeah, it doesn't return false
or whatever.
Yeah. So
symbol.
Elixir is monadic in this sense. You'll see this everywhere. Elixir's got result monads. That's what this is called. If you're turning off because I said monad, I completely agree with you. Don't worry about monads here, but this is what this pattern is called. So any function that returns like a tuple base, it's usually a tuple, and it usually says okay, successful, or not okay. In this case, we're always doing a tuple of okay or error, and okay is going to return the record itself. So we'll just call this tweet. We'll bind that to tweet. And then error in this case will return the change set, and it will have those same errors, that have already happened. And we can do the two things from this. Now we'll need to, we'll put this down here. All right. So on the error case, if somehow they hit tweet and there's still an error, it'll hit this case. We'll assign the change set back in to the socket. The error will still continue to render. Everything will be normal. But now, Now Well, I guess we don't really do anything, right? We still gotta. Now we have to reload the tweets, right? Because there should be a new one.
Yep.
Yeah. So we do that in here now. So earlier we assigned it on mount, right? Repo all tweet. We can just do the same thing, but on here, right? So assign socket tweets repo all.
Nice.
Tweet.
Okay.
I think that's it.
All right. Oh, wait, what did we do wrong? It's yelling.
Oh, I forgot a parentheses.
Okay. All right. So
see it work on your screen. So I messed up something.
Fail.
In your terminal, we should see an error message for that. There we go. We got a lot of stuff there. What we got? Handle event, no function clause matching. We called it we called it save, not submit.
Mm-hmm. There it is.
There it is. Look at that.
There it is.
Okay. Now you did the latest bit before.
Yeah.
So let's do that. We're gonna do a little ecto query bit. This is pretty close to like SQL, which is a pro and a con. I think it's a pro because anybody that uses SQL benefits from understanding SQL better.
Sure.
But it's a little bit of a con because it means that you have to understand, what SQL is and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So this function right here is about to get a little uglier. There's no short way of saying reorder it. We could do it in like runtime because at this point this gives us an array of tweets and we can like sort it by the date in runtime that's not in the database, or we can tell the database to return it to us in a certain order.
Yep.
So what we can do is I'm gonna pull this out real quick. I can't seem to select in my Vim thing very well, so I guess I'll just have to Okay, we'll call it tweets, and I'm just gonna pull that out. Okay, we're gonna do something a little bit weird here. First, I'm going to import ecto query because what we're about to do is query something. Yeah. We didn't have those superpowers before.
Yep, like a query builder.
Now we're able to query. And I think there's probably actually an easier way to do this now that I think of it. But it's something like this. This may actually die. Let's see. You know what? This is actually really dumb of me. There's a much better way of expressing this. But we'll see how this goes. Okay, so we're going to define a query here. So we're defining from t for so just like a for loops that we did before. So for every row in the tweets database, we're going to assign that to t. So that's like our tweets table here. Mm-hmm. We don't actually use it anywhere, so we don't really care.
Yep.
Here, but I'll leave it. And we're gonna order by. Mm-hmm. Ascending on which field, in this case, inserted by. I can never remember if it's descending or ascending, but let's see how this works. Mm-hmm. Let's see if this works. Okay, so I got the order wrong, but it did work. So this will be descending. All right, does that work? Oh, maybe I had it right the first time. Maybe we'll do ascending.
Yeah, no, it's still giving me the same order.
Okay.
Not a big deal though. I mean that doesn't have anything to do with LiveView or anything. It's just a question of how to,
I got my thing wrong. Let's do a different form. We're gonna do order by, ascending, inserted by. It's oh, maybe that's what I did wrong. No, I think I got that right. Okay. There's two ways to query with Ecto, and I'm just gonna choose this one for now. I'm gonna do ascending by inserted app, which is one of the timestamps that was created for us. This is a little bit more pipe friendly, and I think we still need Ecto query up there. So let's see. I can never remember. Is it descending or ascending?
Descending.
Okay, that worked. Okay, but there's a problem here. The first time we mount the page, we don't do the order. So.
Oh yeah, sure. So if I add it, that's fine. Yeah. I'm good.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, so if we pulled this little bit out into its own little function of like load tweets or something, we can make that a lot more consistent.
Sure. Totally.
And if you're, we kind of get the effect here. So I'm sharing my screen with your screen share too. So like, I wonder if I tweet something, when will you see it? Oh, never mind. It's on my database. Is it?
Well, no. If it's piping, if live share is piping through, that's all me. So,
interesting.
So if I.
Oh, okay. We don't have the pub sub stuff linked up. That's what I was looking for. So if I inserted something, I should the pub sub thing could like notify your WebSocket connection to reload, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But we don't have that. Not yet.
Yep. That's good though. I think that's a finish line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'll move that out of the way.
Yeah. Okay. So, yep. I mean, this makes sense. I know what I understand. I've seen it. And yeah, it makes sense. There's some interesting things like the whole concept of a change set is kind of similar to a form object, form request object in Laravel, where you store, you can mutate parameters coming in, cast them, validate them, all sorts of stuff. It's sort of, isolated to one thing. And yeah, so yeah, where LiveWire component kind of does all those jobs by itself, holds the validation things. And that's actually a difference of like Laravel and Rails. Like Rails, you have the validation rules on your model, and Laravel, you put them in your controller. So, so LiveWire similarly contrasts to Phoenix LiveView in that same way. But you can validate wherever you want. You can store the validation on the model and make your own method called validate and do whatever. But yeah, so it's interesting. Yep, it is. It's interesting. It's good to see the other paradigm. I recognize a lot of this from even like the first blog post I ever, read, because you can kind of sit here and you can follow it even if you don't know Elixir. You can be like, okay, there's Phoenix click validate, and then there's this handle event validate, and it's the socket passing. You're like, okay, this is the stateful socket thing that knows stuff and whatever. So it makes sense. It makes sense, and the templating is really straightforward. I mean, pro cons, like this is like a Rails way of templating, and actually early Laravel had like form and element helpers, like form stuff to generate form. And at some point I just, I don't know, I really don't like the generators. That was something that I'm really glad Laravel ditched, because of stuff like we just changed the button and now the button's weird,
Yeah.
Because you can't see the class directly. And it's funny because I used to do the same thing. Like if you don't need it, do you just put in the tag, or do you be all formal and actually like end the tag, with the helper? But anyway, but that's not a LiveView thing per se. It's just like a convention. Yeah, so it's interesting, and dealing with data on a change set level makes a lot of sense. For sure. Yeah. It totally makes sense.
Especially if you think like if I had two forms going on, if I had a profile on myself and an identity on myself, like these two different forms, but they're appearing on the same page.
Yeah.
It does keep those separated a little bit more here.
In LiveView, you would have two separate components for those.
And you would render them
in LiveWire.
Both on the same page, I guess.
Yeah, you could nest them. You could have like a root component and then two nested ones, or you could just have two isolated nested ones.
Yeah, which you can do here too. So that we didn't talk about that here, and it's fine too. But like, there's two ways to organize your live views. Like we just did live view here. There's also live components. Live components would be like those smaller pieces of interactivity that you could render it across, anywhere really.
Yep.
But yeah, to help with that, like the organization of your code, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah. So I mean, I dig it. And what else? And this is just a lot of the framework level Ecto ORM stuff that I don't necessarily understand. But to somebody who uses it every day, they totally understand it. And it's more boilerplate for sure. And the functional paradigm also, just sort of adds that the stuff being passed around verbosity that you can sort of quell with things like piping, which I like. But yeah, so, I mean, it's cool. It's wicked fast. I mean, obviously, like, it takes a different approach. It's like meant to basically feel live, which is wild. I wonder, it is also local. So it's both like the fastest possible connection locally and the fastest possible like paradigm being WebSockets. You have any idea what the average latency for a production live view app is for the WebSocket call?
I don't have that stat on hand, but it's like in the milliseconds. It all depends on what you're doing on the socket too, and what you got stored on the socket. So, like, you have every chance to make it super slow. The starting point is wicked fast, and like we're talking. So comparing like a control, like just thinking about a regular old controller HTTP GET request, like Phoenix itself is still doing microsecond response times here. Even smaller than milliseconds, so that is like extremely fast. So if you take away the HTTP GET thing and just go down to the WebSockets, you're still hitting those kinds of levels really, really fast. But again, it all depends on what you're doing on the socket.
Yeah. I guess I'm just interested in like how much of the network request is unnecessary handshakes in an AJAX request. There's like 6 times as many like handshakes or something, and what does that account for in terms of milliseconds shaved off? Like if an AJAX request takes 100 milliseconds to a server, what's a WebSocket request to that server? Is it 20 milliseconds? Is it 80? I'm just curious.
You'll see some of that. And it's always unfair to look at your local server because everything's local, but you'll see those stats, in your server, your terminal as you're running that. But just looking in like Brave, in the network tab, I can find the WebSocket. I can see the times for every message that's exchanged. Like doing a bunch of typing on that text area, every single. We didn't even talk about debouncing and deferring, which Phoenix has some of that stuff built in as well. You can debounce response by milliseconds and stuff, so it waits. But without that, so it's instantaneously reacting to this stuff as quickly as it can. Like all of those events. Within milliseconds here, like I'm seeing, I think these are milliseconds here that I'm looking at.
How do you even see WebSocket requests? I don't even remember how. Like how?
Yeah, so here I'll get yours up. So go. Yeah, you got network. You might have to reload for it to show up. You're also filtering to CSS.
Right. Where's the?
So there should be a WebSocket
so it comes through
bit.
as a normal thing, yeah? Oh, wait a second. Okay, it has the ongoing connection.
And go to messages. Here you go. So there's 2 of them. You might be on the wrong one. I'm not sure.
So I'm on the CSRF token one. So, okay, let's see.
Yeah, so let's get that. That's the right one. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
So you can see those are all the individual messages being sent. And as you can type, like if you just like spam your text area there, you'll just see like that's everything going over. That's literally what's going over the wires there.
Right. It's ludicrous how fast it is. totally mind-boggling. It's unreal because it's not on an actual server, but it's still, even just locally, it's freaking instant. You can't decipher speed at all.
Yeah.
Um,
and I remember like a year or two ago when Chris McCord announced Phoenix LiveView, part of the demo was showing 60 frames per second div changes. It was like an animation, right? It was 60 frames per second, all happening over the WebSockets and between Charlotte, North Carolina, and Poland. So like across the world is when they were demoing this kind of stuff to each other. That wasn't on ElixirConf. That wasn't the demo I saw, but they said that they were still able to achieve 60 frames per second of changes, deltas of HTML, morphed on patches up to the thing, all of it going from the back end pushing to the front end, like insanely fast. What you can do with that.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I don't recommend performing animations with LiveView. That's just not a good use case.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. I feel good about this. I'm glad we took this tour. I am, my brain is basically melted because we've been at this for what? Like
a
3
very
hours?
long time.
3.5 hours.
Good Lord. Yeah, that's way longer than I thought.
But no, I feel good about it. I'm glad we made it to some sort of finish line, and we saw how, I'm totally satisfied. I saw everything I wanted to see. The story for tracking data changes and updating things in the database and everything. I'm pumped. I'm really glad that I touched it now.
Yeah. The big differences that I saw, besides functional programming and object-oriented programming, is Ecto is a totally separated thing, and it's more tightly coupled with performing form changes with. At least that's the conventional way. I know it's possible without it, but conventionally, you typically use Ecto change sets for handling forms on a website. You don't have that tightly coupled nature, in Laravel and LiveWire, which I think is a good plus. Because it gets you up and running quicker, I think. Because Ecto, believe me, is a whole paradigm, which, believe it or not, Ecto is actually what drew me to Elixir to begin with. I loved Ecto, but it is quite a journey to understand that and the values that it brings. So that was a big difference between Laravel and LiveView. Laravel, LiveWire, and LiveView was the story around handling your form objects. And with Ecto, I agree, there's some more gotchas in there. We had to do that map put action insert stuff. We had to think about there's more gotchas because we assigned tweets 2 different ways. We could fix that quickly, but it might be easier to mess something up and get into a confusing state because it is stateful. But I did really enjoy LiveWire and how quickly I was able to get up and productive, and it did remind me of Rails a little bit. And I think that story there is a little bit better for handling form objects with LiveWire, so I was really glad to see that. Also, installing it was pretty easy. I thought it was going to be a lot harder than that.
Yeah, that's the thing. Once it became just Ajax driven, it's like, well, actually, the only thing you need to do is pull a back end chunk in and pull the front end chunk in, and that's it. It's like but yeah, no, one of the big the things that I tried to stress from day one is making it as simple as humanly possible and just driving harder and harder at less boilerplate, more intuitive APIs. How should it work by default? Make that how it works without even, how do you expect it to work? Make it work that way,
Yeah.
Which is a fun experience for me. So that's, so that's something that is a value that you just, can see reflected. And there's trade-offs, of course, because you can go too far, you can assume too much, and you can do too much magically, but it's that trade-off of how do you get this to work the way people expect and to be rid of boilerplate, but also make it flexible and understandable, so that you can see some of the wires, so that you know which wires how to unplug the wires and change, so.
Yeah.
No, but it was definitely good. I'm glad I finally touched it and built something with it and witnessed its beauty. It definitely has, I mean, it totally lives up to all my expectations and matches all my expectations. That it's a more bare bones tool. It has WebSockets at its core. It has the templating engine stuff and the diffing stuff. Like, it does so much at such deep levels, and that's where it shines. It's just this like incredibly efficient, beautiful modern tool. Which is awesome.
That's the message. That's what all of everybody that's watching this should take away from this, I think, is there's two different flavors here of modern web development, I think. LiveWire with Laravel and PHP, and then Elixir with Phoenix and LiveView. But the story is that it's really easy and possible to get modern web development, with backend technologies like Elixir and PHP, and be incredibly productive with it pretty darn fast, I'd say. And like, there's so much business value in that. And so the moment that I hear of folks like dismissing like backend technologies like PHP, and it's easy to make fun of languages, but it's easy
PHP is a punching bag.
It's a punching bag. It's so easy to just make fun of stuff, but they're incredibly powerful. So I can't wait to see how LiveWire evolves. I'm really happy to see that, like, even me as a total PHP noob, I was able to get something up and running. I was able to take correct guesses of how things are organized. Right. The templating engine with Blade was really familiar. My experience with Rails helped me out with the object-oriented stuff a little bit, especially with the .all and .latest things. That was really familiar.
Right.
So that was really good. So I'm really happy. So if you're in PHP and you're not using LiveWire, I highly recommend you to take a look at LiveWire, because noobs like me can get it up and running pretty quickly and understand what's going on. So that's nice.
It's pretty wild how fast you were able to just get going and assume syntax and PHP and everything. Chris came from Rails to Elixir just to build Phoenix and Phoenix channels so that he could have LiveView over WebSockets. Quite the journey. So cool to see LiveWire enabling it. It's crazy. Yep. Wild ride. So hopefully more tools like this emerge in the ecosystem, in other backend ecosystems. I think they will. I mean, it's just so compelling. You can't argue with the speed of development and reliability, because there's less moving parts. So cool. Well, thanks for having me on your feed, and thanks for holding my hand through some Elixir stuff. I think this was a success.
Well, thanks for joining me, man. I loved it. Maybe we can do this again. We'll see what else, other cool things we can build. We didn't give Rail Stimulus Reflex a chance here, so maybe that's in a future session.
Oh yeah, that would be a fun one.
So if you're into Ruby Rails world, maybe maybe that's something to look at if you want this kind of experience. But also give PHP, LiveWire, and Elixir a shot here too. I think these are great things.
Yep, absolutely. Sweet.
All right. Thanks again.
Right. Thanks, David. Thanks, everybody.
See you, everyone.